it's not going to be that bad. You're going to have the Boars there to slow down the Razor. If you link them, the support Medusa is going to slow them down with Mystic Snake and the Grasp. So I don't think you're too pressured here as a Beastmaster.
I mean, if they can play their lanes, I feel like Liquid is going to be very, very strong when they group up. And I'm not sure how BBT can fight that. You know, they're going to need that triple, at least double BKB timing with the Razor and Monkey. And Timber probably has to get some auras to help fight in the early game.
It's a scary Monkey King pick, though. That's
like
really scary
for BB team.
Yeah, like
you don't think
because you think it's volatile.
It's scary for Liquid. I think it's good. It's like
you think it was a fantastic
it's a
last
really,
pick.
really good pick. Yes.
Okay.
Really into the Luna with the fact that you're maxing beam now.
I don't think that matters too much. I think what they needed was something that can lane versus puck well, and Monkey King can definitely do that. And on top of that, the one thing that Beastmaster hates is rotations from mid laners to slow down your timing.
Okay.
And Monkey King is incredibly good at making these early rotations.
Sure, stack contest.
He plays really well with the relocate too. You run around, you see a hero, and two heroes come in, and you get a kill.
So he should have a good laning stage into some easy gank targets.
Okay. You're siding a little bit more with BBT then.
There are problems with their draft, but I think GPK could carry this game very hard, which he needs to. I do like the fact that they're playing a lot faster on BB team. They're not playing these Alchemist type heroes. So yeah, I think I'm going to go with them Thursday.
All right.
Yeah, it's a very interesting draft from both teams. I feel like both teams have very, very different drafts and they are looking to do different things. I think both teams have very good chances of winning this game.
Yeah. Normally, Jenkins, I'd ask for your opinion, but you're probably just going to recite Blitz's words back to me, and instead we could just ask him ourselves, as he is joining Nomad before we head into game number 1.
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm here with Blitz. Blitz, I mean, this isn't really what we expected for the draft, but is it what you expected?
Yeah, I mean, it's always kind of interesting drafting against a team like this. They obviously prioritize some stuff. I think they kind of did a bit of a curveball, first picking Timber like that. So we'll see how it goes.
All right, well, the panel was saying that you talked about them being a slow team, but this doesn't look like a slow draft. Do you think they're kind of changing their strategy a bit and maybe going out of their comfort zone to fight you guys?
Yeah, I think they probably realize that if they don't play tempo against us, they're going to lose in 20 minutes, which is, I think it's happened a lot. So maybe this is kind of their solution to that.
Alrighty, and obviously the Medusa was a bit of an interesting pick, first one of the tournament. Can you explain to us what you think that hero does for you?
I don't know. Boxy just likes the hero. He just says it's good vibes, and usually we just go off of stuff like that.
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much, Blitz, and let's get into the games. We've got our casters Cap and SVG for this one.
Despite the high level of skill on either side here, there is a general question about whether or not these two teams have what it takes to be champions. Now, Liquid has already pushed back against that narrative by being able to win a smaller tournament in ESP Season 2, but the question still remains for BBT. Avery, it has been a hard matchup for them time and time again for this year and last year against Team Liquid, and they have in general struggled when it comes to tournaments of the highest caliber. So this is an opportunity, right, for BB team to be able to push back against the storylines of the past.
If there's a time to do it, it's got to be now. You don't have a lot of tournaments left in the year. You might not have a lot with this roster if you can't start to get some results on the big stage in the right moments on LAN. And we heard the coach interview, we heard what the panel was discussing. This matchup to me is entirely about the tempo and the pace. The first 10 minutes, super important. The room fight, super important for BB team here. They need this first blood. They need to get out of here.
33, trying to hide away in the trees long enough that he can get a couple hits on Psych, and he does manage to get it. No way. Unbelievable, the fact that he managed to pull that off. Gets first blood away from BB team. You want to talk about pulling off moves in the clutch. That was a clutch move right there.
I mean, I didn't think we were going to caster curse somebody that fast. we really did him dirty there. As much as we talk about how much BB team need to get off to a fast pace, that is not what they wanted out of that rune fight. And if you look at their draft, they definitely have adapted to a lot of the past times they've played against Liquid. We saw the stats. Liquid has beaten them more often than not. Save will get a little return kill in the laning phase. This is a BB team lineup that is designed to win the laning phase. Absolutely no doubt about it. They get the last pick mid for the counter matchup. We saw what teams were able to do at EWC versus Nisha with some counter picks. It's not necessarily something Nisha can overcome in a one-on-one, so you have to rely on the supports. But if you can apply enough lane pressure in the side lanes where those supports for Liquid can't make the rotations, That's where you can pick apart Liquid's early games. It really comes down to the side lane execution here for BB Team. And when you go in on an IO Lion, you're kind of all in. This is not a support duo that's going to shove out lanes in the mid game or give you a lot of team fight firepower. So we're talking about the first 10 to 15 minutes here. For the BB Team supports, the most important thing in this game.
Compare that to the Liquid supports, they're kind of the opposite in that regard, right? I feel like those are two supports that do push out lanes very well, but maybe aren't necessarily the best when it comes to like rotation stuff. Is Save looks like perhaps a little bit of revenge is finally Insania gets the punch at long distance. He gets it, and it's still going to be cut down by the Timbersaw. So the matchup still looks all right for the Timbersaw in that Tree Protector. We were in the panel talking about it for quite some time, and still able to dice up that Tree Protector pretty good.
Trades are okay for BB Team, honestly. They just get more gold overall, especially for Save on this line. Could be a big mid-game threat. Liquid are just going to try and go even, get their ball rolling, particularly extra farm with this Medusa for Boxy would be nice. This is just a lane you have to weather if you're Liquid right now. It's a lot of burst damage, a lot of sustained damage over the course of the laning phase with just spamming impales, spamming the chain through. You get the extra facet going to work for Timber as well with the extra tree spikes. This is a lane they are used to as well. I remember this is a combination that Save has played going back to, I think, Singapore Major, like 3.5, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
When TM was on this squad, they first faced this Timber Lion every single game they got it. And it's kind of going back to the roots here. This IO Razor is also something that Liquid used to play. Do you remember going back to European DPC?
Yep.
There was a point that Liquid rated this IO Razor as the best IO pair in the game. I think for them, it switched more to that IO Marcy direction. But kind of taking a page out of some of the older strategies here. And Liquid, I mean, they're going for the new stuff, right? The support Medusa.
Yeah, what do you think about that? Because I know you're an old school Dota player. You've been around the block for a while. I know you don't like new things. I know you don't like playing new heroes. No, you don't like playing heroes in new ways. How do you feel about Medusa support, huh?
I mean, I don't want it on my team, but I'm sure it's perfectly viable.
Why don't you want it on your team?
Look, all I'm saying is if I'm in a random pub and my 4-pick Medusa, I'm reporting the guy.
Mickey gets cut down by the Timber Chain as they'll chase after Insania as well. This lane continues to go better and better as it looks like they're likely to pick up the double kill, in which case they are. Not quite a double, one for each of the pair of them in the BB Team squad.
That is the dream start for this Lion lane. So the extra sticks for the Lion and Timber paying off here. He's able to put those impale beams. Foxy will tank the link for 33, but still going to have a CS advantage down here as Saika putting up decent numbers and free farming this lane.
Oh yeah, 22-3, 22-8 for the mid Monkey King as well. So mid lane and the safe lane both doing very, very well. And the Timbersaw may not have the most CS, but they're certainly getting a lot of kills out of the lane. So I have to imagine net worth wise, BB Team is looking very, very good in all three of their lanes. Now, that being said, BB Team, they definitely drafted to make this happen. But winning your lanes doesn't necessarily mean that you can keep up with the fast pace that Team Liquid likes to bring. In fact, we've seen that happen to Team Liquid in their matchup against Gaming Gladiators, right? When you're playing up against a fast team, sometimes winning lanes doesn't cut it.
What is this gate rotation, man?
I don't know.
Mickey make this, but
the Gorgon's Grasp latches onto Saika, and that'll allow the Insania Mickey duo that comes through the gates, just a full-on quad lane to challenge BB Team. I guess they're done with this laning phase. They say, all right, we don't want to keep this happening. We're losing out on the laning phase. Let's shift things up, and let's just move some heroes around. Speaking of moving heroes around, Save is going to move into the mid lane and helps get the kill on Nisha. The mid lane continuing to go the way of GPK as rotation comes in and widens that gap even further.
It's a really important rotation for BB Team. If Liquid's going to commit this quad lane to bottom, Mickey's just going to abandon top. You need to get a trade somewhere on the map. So you're going to either rotate the line mid to create the 2-on-1 with the empty lane top and be happy with Nightfall soaking up some of the pressure bottom, but you have to get that exchange somewhere. It was also pretty valuable that Toronto Tokyo lived bottom, Blood Grenade out of Insania. Again, double hero gate rotation in 5 minutes. That is a big committal for Liquid, just abandoning the top lane. They do not feel like they can stand against the Lion Timber. And, I mean, this is what this lane is designed to do. Kick you out and never let you come back. Toronto Tokyo did lose this courier. There was Bracer on it. Decent amount of net worth off the board right now. And triple Wraith ban for GPK mid. can see BB team prioritizing playing through this Monkey King. It's a lot of early stats, treads on top of it. He is going to be a powerhouse in the early exchanges. This is not a hero Liquid want to fight into right now. They want to just continue to get the farm up, particularly on the Beastmaster 33, having a very solid laning phase here. You throw in some extra ancient stacks on top of it. Yeah, maybe the Luna's a little sad he doesn't get those, but we have seen Liquid prioritize this Beastmaster as the true one position when they play with it, and for good reason.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of still the same story of the previous patch, right? Where Beastmaster was all the rage. I feel like he was the hero of the patch for me personally, right? You get a bunch of farm out of lane if possible. If you can't get that, you get it out of some ancient stacking. And once you get it out of the ancient stacking, you get the Aghanim Scepter, and with that, you take Roshan, right? Like that whole game plan hasn't changed at all, right?
Not really. I think it's been a little slower on average, but maybe a bit more item diversity. We're seeing some of these beasts go for more, pipes and crimsons.
I even saw Helm of the Overlord in one game to get an ESB. It was
I don't know if we're going to see that again. Elder Death on the TP out here, man. Hero has... I mean, this is one of those positions where it's like, if your Timber doesn't carry this game, you're not going to get a better start than this. He's just had an empty lane.
Get the lockdown on to Boxy is all that's required to get this kill. The Gorgon Grass comes out, GPK still has the stun, and Psycha should be able to deliver the damage. Boxy's going to go for a TP out. He actually is going to make it.
So tanky.
Yeah, I mean, the DOTA gets crazy tanky. That is one upside of this support. More durable than most, maybe compared to something like an Enchantress or something, but somehow managed to get away. Of course, it doesn't cost GPK that much. Monkey King, with this facet that he has, is able to move around the map quite efficiently, so it's not like it really cost him anything. I doubt he missed probably any CS out of that.
And Liquid are just having issues staying on the lanes in general. So if you can rotate these cores around from BB, maybe collapse on this mid tower at some point, you should be happy in that fight right now. This is kind of a recovery mode. They're trying to get the Luna back into a position where he can maintain the farm advantage. Another rotation from GPK, trying to get some more tree freebies here. Zania's woes continue on this top lane. I mean, he is just a Midas for save right now.
Yeah.
And he is happy collecting it. This is going to be a decent timing for this Lion Blink Dagger if he wants to just rush it straight up.
Since the Timbersaw is off to such a great start, what do you build in this kind of game for Timbersaw? Because I feel like this is a hero that actually has some item diversity.
There's a decent argument with this type of lineup composition. You would want to go something more in the auras because you have two other right-click carries and an IO Lion who are not giving you the team fight. Like an IO is going to have a mech locket, if you get to that point, sure. But outside of that, you don't have that big tank presence. There's an argument there, but he's
so he disables Isha, can't survive.
Man, Savage he has taken this early game over.
Seriously.
Absolutely. He has just straight up won 2 lanes on this Lion, put himself in an incredible position, and I mean, even if he just wants to go back and stack at this point to try and match what 33 is doing here, BB are going to be happy about that. You're talking about the Timbers itemization. Miro is sitting at the top of the board here. When you're in this kind of position, I don't think you really want to go just first item Piper's lane. I think you're looking to get more aggressive. Early Blink, early Kaya, output the damage, be a huge threat in the fight. You're going to open up space for early cores, and Liquid are tired of giving him the space here. Time to shut him down.
Heavy rotation, 2 TPs. Start off with the silence here. They still got the coil if necessary. Mickey is going to pop the ult to make sure they have the damage. 2 ults used to be able to bring down Miro's Timbersaw. They does net them a killing spree streak. So a hefty amount of gold going the way of all the heroes, though. To get it, Boxy is the one to pick up the last hit. That's not ideal.
Still good XP for Mickey here. And exactly what you want to do with this Luna pick. Get the Eclipse kills off cooldown versus hero. He can't deal with the early magic damage. Okay, continue to hunt around these wards up top, but no connection here on the puck. And if you can get a fast Gleipnir on this Monkey, I think that's what really brings the early game together for BB here. Like, that's going to give you the extra lockdown, some extra long-range setup. The Timber, Razor, Lion all benefit from this. It helps set up some reload ganks if you can get there, too. Yeah. So if you're BB, you're really racing towards these early Maelstrom/Gleipnirs and the mech on the Isle. That's what you're looking for. If you're Liquid, you just want the Beastmaster Ags, and then you want to use that to power up the rest of the lineup. Either get a good team fight out of it into early Roshan. I don't know how confident you're going to be forcing that, 14, 15-minute Roshan this game if you're Liquid just straight up. Maybe you're confident enough and with the extra tree and sustain and the tankiness of the DOTA, but it's a little spooky with the start given here.
Boxy getting jumped. But again, the tankiness of the DOTA does manage to keep BB Team from gaining anything out of that. They almost look like they're going to make a re-go of it here.
They'd rather just get the tower than the kills, honestly. Open up these Ancients a bit more. Try and slow down the Beastmaster. In fact, Miro stealing a couple of the camps here. Not too sad about that. Still very farmed on this Timber.
He is, looks like he's thinking about going Aura, so he went for the Kaya. I expected the Blink Dagger after that. After all, you know, use the advantage that you have. But he's thinking about Pipe, which obviously this is a very valuable Pipe game. If you can get it early enough, Puck, Luna, you're going to be taking away a lot of the damage that threatens some of these cores that, you know, it's pretty much just guaranteed that if Razor and Monkey King can just survive through the first few seconds of the fight, they probably carry through, right?
You also just have to deal with the extra Luna magic damage as well. You know, this is not the 0-4-4 Luna you might have been playing against a couple patches back. Need some tank ability here. You don't want to get an early BKB. This is not the BKB meta. But go for the Pipe. It'll help your IO a lot in the fight too. You might have a decent Pipe timing here. It's going to help you contest the early Beastmaster objective taking. Like, I try and make an aggressive move with it.
Yeah, that's a good point. If he gets that Pipe before the Aghanims go for Roshan is complete for Liquid, then Liquid may feel like they never have enough team fight to be able to that would go for that objective.
I mean, if you can finish it before that, you're very comfortable in this game. I don't know how fast you're... I mean, this Beastmaster Axe, it's coming out pretty fast. The big Ancient stacks were not contested for 33, and he's still having a very strong game.
Nisha trying to keep the pressure on the mid lane. Will inevitably take this tower.
There it is.
It's just a question of
13 minutes here for that Beast Axe. See what Liquid decides to do with this. Instant smoke. So they're just going mid. They want the team fight out of this. They want to abuse the tankiness right now.
Beastmaster hoping that they'll catch something on the right-hand side of this tower, but you saw from Save's positioning as well as GPK, they were playing the left side of the tower, knowing that this kind of flank could come through, and now they've abandoned that mid lane entirely. Smoked up to top lane, see if they could find Mickey out of this. Mickey is playing pretty passive, though.
This is the blink for Save. Very fast line blink. Would love to connect on this. Will not find that mark. Both smokes miss. I think this feels a little better for Liquid, though, because they can just translate this into... Well, they just got the tower free for mid. That's a big deal as well. But they can just translate this beast into another push somewhere else.
Now they're trying to bait out the Luna. BB team are not going to chomp down on that one. They've got a fair amount of vision that they would be playing into, so probably for the best. The BB team just continuing to farm away. In fact, Toronto Tokyo is getting a bit of farm and almost has a mech complete.
The downsides of all these trades, though, for BB team, if you're not getting the fights, well, they're going to start it here with Save.
Yeah, trying to force it. They'll get this kill up bottom lane. So many heroes from Team Liquid at the top part of the map. They seem to have read that pretty well, and they'll take advantage of it, getting the kill and tower on the safe lane.
Treant of Midas there for Save.
Yeah.
Really
how many deaths are we up to for old Insania, huh?
I mean, it hasn't
a
been
rough
that
game.
bad. It's just, he's 6 deaths. Okay, it's been a little bad.
Yeah, it's a little bad.
I mean, it's definitely been a decent boost of gold here for Save. I mean, it's not Insania's fault. It's just that lane went really bad early, and then someone has to tank this. The brunt of the line jumps here so Mickey can have some farm on the map. But it is pushed this Treant down. The upside for Liquid, again, though, is they have this DOTA, which is the one support out of all of these that I think can clear waves and farm the most in the downtime.
Yep.
So I expect to see Boxy to climb this chart faster than the line or the IO, at least in this early mid-game. If you can get an extra utility item up, could make the difference in that Roche fight, which Liquid are done messing around. They're just going to force it here during the nighttime.
Yeah, they waited for Roshan to come over to Dire side, which they have much better control of, especially after losing their off-lane tower. Radiant side Roshan was just not a point of contention for Team Liquid. They wait for 15 minutes, they take it now. It seems like BB Team is going to let them have it. I have to imagine they know this is happening. They have so much control of the map. They pushed in bottom lane. Mid is pushing in as well. They know all of Liquid is up here. And they say, fine, you can have it. We're not going to fight into that, despite picking up the pipe. That is complete for the Timbersaw. So I do feel like they could take team fights if they wanted to. But as it is, they get a lot off the map in the meantime. They got that Insania kill. They got the off tower. They got the mid tower. Now they're setting up what a potential fight here on Nisha as the Blink Dagger reveals itself on Nisha and catches him underneath this ward. That's going to be the Aegis. Can they get him a second time? Are they going to be able to have the disables available? Try and hit him with a Boundless Strike. The timing isn't quite there, though Nisha is still going to have a hard time getting away. Has to drop the coil on a GPK, but the stun is still there from Save to catch up. A little bit of damage is all that's required. He's going to jump to the orb once again. Oh, got hexed. So wasn't able to get it. Even if he did, GPK was there on the other side waiting for him. So, as a result, Nisha gets the Aegis and immediately loses it.
Save once more, just setting up all around the map. This is how BB Team want to play this part of the game. Get the setups around, get the reload kills, find this puck, continue to shut the split push down, and not really engage in the straight up 5-on-5. I think they'd be okay doing it if they were in a position that was advantageous or on a ward. They have the pipe, they have the mech. It's not that bad for them right now. The Gleipnirs have also started to come out. Psychos is done. You're completing the one on the Monkey King very soon. Pretty much everything is there for you to take these fights around the map of your BB team, but these pickoffs are where their lineup really shines. Like, that's what IO Lion's designed to do. Get the deep wards, de-ward the side lanes from Liquid if you can. You're looking at where the sentries have been placed from BB team. It's just trying to get rid of this kind of split push ratty vision that might benefit Liquid installing this game. They really want to control where Liquid can farm on this map. And all eyes are on Nisha right now, because if he cannot get the lanes in deep, if he cannot continue to scale himself, I think BB team are going to be happy going into this late game. Another big smoke here, looking for the initiation with the Lion. Save is going to be happy to jump in on any big core target that he finds. And you have those auras to back up a team fight if it develops. I don't know if Medusa is the hero you really want to jump.
No.
It just does not feel like a good target here under a tower.
I feel like we've seen this one before a couple times in this game. Everybody else, I feel like it's free game. Just not Medusa.
I do wonder about Foxy's impact the later this game goes, though. Like, you can farm up, you can buy utility, but is Medusa spells going to be that spooky for BB team to fight into here?
Yeah, I mean, we saw Team Liquid when the patch first came out. Nice pickoff of potentially on GPK, but no, Save is here with the save, and they've got the reload key coming in. The damage on GPK is not quite enough. The pipe came through and bailed them out just at the last second. Miro gets there in time, and the damage from the rest of BB team clean up the rest, and GPK, just like that, gets up the full HP off the Boundless Strike. So he doesn't even need to go back to base.
And Pupil's gift, saving lives here on the Monkey King with the extra strength.
Oh, yeah.
Now that is a big misstep here for the Beastmaster that was having the best game here on Liquid. All three cores from BB team continuing to accelerate, and the pickoffs Save back to old habits here. Liquid just don't have enough vision to play around. And it's hard to make these kind of solo plays if you're 33 because that reload comes in. So even if you get the monkey there, are you doomed for that play regardless?
Yeah, for sure.
Man, the setup here is just very difficult.
In which case it comes back down to this Luna, right? Like,
oh, yeah.
When does this carry turn the tide of this game? Because that's about it.
It's got to be the BKB here for me.
And that's still a ways away.
You get that up, you can take an aggressive fight. The Luna can stay in there. You have to worry about the Razor Link, which BB team ideally want to kind of connect on to Mickey, but I think Psycho will happily take any big core target he can get at the start of a fight. Sure. But outside of that, like, this Luna can do some damage, particularly if she finds supports at the start of the fight, but that's a big question if you're Liquid. Can you find these supports? Your jump is not that great in terms of isolating the IO, taking him out first. I think a lot of these fights could come down to Save starting on the target he wants. BB team are going to be very happy every time that happens.
Yeah.
Particularly if it's this Puck, who Nisha's continuing to suffer in this game.
Oh, yeah. He's gonna try and get Blink Dagger, sure, but he's looking at a BKB next. I would have thought it would have been Lincoln's, considering the initiation coming out from Save every time. They finally do go for the DOTA. Seems like Boxy has stepped a bit too far forward. They say, okay, we can finally kill him. They've had some mid-vision there in the lane. They knew nobody was behind Boxy, and they'll finally take that kill. Got a killing streak for it as well, so.
Just feels like Save is getting to do whatever he wants on this map. Like, he is running around aggressively as Alliance, planning wards, setting up wherever he goes. Every blink stun has been converted into kills for BB team. And he is one of the best killer supports in Dota right now. Like, this is his bread and butter. we talk about where initiation comes from BB Team a lot of times in their games. To me, it's him, right? When he's feeling the map, when he can start these things off cooldown, team functions the best because then Nightfall just gets to farm, be the huge late game threat he wants to be, and there's not a lot of pressure on him to get stuff done. Liquid just gonna man up for a shard.
Yeah, play to get this Tormentor and hope that it goes to the tree is what I assume they wanted. Instead, it goes to the DOTA, which would be good if they had Aghanim Scepter, but they don't have that.
Gleipnir done for GPK here. Everything online for BB Team right now.
Yeah, double. I feel like this is part of the meta right now with these mass Gleipnirs. Everyone's seen them. But if you get the momentum going on early, these Gleipnirs feel so good, right? You hit this window right here where there's no BKBs. You know you're in better control of the game. You feel stronger. And you just have so much catch with multiple Gleipnirs that situations like this could turn it into pickoffs if the Gleipnirs only find their holds. We do not. Liquid do manage to back away before BB Team catches them.
Blade Daggers allowing the escape there. Would have been a big find. You're trying to force the fights before Liquid can finish these big Black King bars, particularly on the Luna and the Beastmaster. Then you negate a lot of the spell damage and the control from BB Team.
Foxy stepping forward to go for the D-ward. They do manage to get the Hex on the puck, though. The initiation is there. Still, though, managed to get him away. Foxy is stuck in the middle of this Wukong's command, and it's something that Mickey can't challenge either. They have the Coil, the Overgrowth, the Eclipse, all of it being used, but nobody goes down until maybe 33 jumps back in, going for GPK, down to half HP. Might be able to fit him up, but the Boundless Strike, he gets away. No, Nisha hunts him down. Foxy now, help with Mickey, is focusing on Psycha. Can Toronto Tokyo get them out of this mess? Lends him a little bit of heal, a little bit of extra movement speed to get away, and Liquid do not have the same kind of catch that BB Team does, especially after the blink has already been used by both the Puck and the Beastmaster to get that kill on GPK. A turnaround for Liquid, a decent one, but it only catches just GPK. They didn't manage to turn that into a full break of BB Team and get multiple heroes.
I'm surprised BB Team got out of there with what they did. That could have been significantly worse for them. An initiation that goes about as wrong as it can. You commit big ults, you commit your Lion Blink into this Puck. He does not die. Liquid are able to turn that around, and 33 is able to get a really nice connection with this Roar on the Monkey King on the back line. And honestly, a lot of that was that three-man Gorgon's grasp. I mean, I don't know if
I can hear that too many times.
You really are not, but that was just a sick route from Boxy in the right place at the right time. Stalled out a lot of that fight, and then the Overgrowth connected after the grasp ran out. This really stalled BB Team for 6-7 seconds there. You know, again, they don't have BKBs of their own, so yeah, you have kind of limited control of Liquid, but the control you have is still very good right now.
For now, Sanka is going to, so we got the Manta. Important because it helps the Razor scale up, but also really good against the Overgrowth from the Treant Protector, right?
Need a Dispel.
Now he's going to get the BKB, so he's going to be able to deal with the Coil, deal with the Grass, and he's got Manta to be able to deal with the Overgrowth. Zyka is going to go into potentially this next team fight and have nothing be able to stop him, unless they want to throw down Roar on him. That's kind of the only thing that they'll have.
I mean, he's just tanking up. He wants to go BKB Satanic here on the Razor, which triple Dispel, which sounds great. My big question mark, though, is are you going to lack damage with this build?
I don't think so, because ultimately, isn't he just looking to just take the damage away from Liquid? Aren't they very much based around their Luna? If you take away the damage from Luna, late game fights, is it even possible for Liquid to win that?
I just don't know how reliable you're going to get a long duration link on this Luna. Like, he has Pike. You're going to have Roar Overgrowth that can stall out the initial go. Maybe you get one more Force Staff on Liquid. You're happy disjoining that. In that case, you have to jump the Luna, but in theory, that should be very difficult with the front line between DOTA, Beast, Tree that Liquid have. Yeah. When you say what's going to stop Nightfall here, I mean, could be himself at a certain point if you just run out of damage. I think if you get this next Roche, you're not sad at all. And I think the Monkey King and Timber can definitely pick up the slack. So I don't think there's anything wrong with this item build. But if you can disjoint that link, then your Razor threat isn't as big as it could be, right? You're not all in on some glass cannon build or anything like that. Yeah. And Liquid are fairly tanky here.
Yeah, and they just picked up a big item in one of those frontliners. 33 has a BKB.
That's a really important fight for both teams, but for Liquid to try and get this second Roche for the Beastmaster with their BKB timing. Do not have the Luna BKB. You have to keep that
33 coming in from behind. Throws out some axes, gets a little vision, has to blink away, doesn't find his target. The mark there would be if he could catch the IO, which he almost does. Blow up the IO right away. That would be fantastic.
I honestly think Liquid kind of want to bait BB into jumping them. If they can bait them into jumping the DOTA or some poor target like that, then 33 is going to be able to find his mark. But I think him going in blind is very difficult here.
Yeah, and you can see Boxy is trying to do just that. Miro is doing the same.
Yeah, he has Hags right now, and there is no hard dispel on the side of Liquid, so he's a god in the fight.
Yeah. And Boxy pushing the limit here, trying harder and harder to get BB Team to jump onto him.
They just don't want to take the bait.
And they do not. But it does mean they are conceding a lot of ground here. They are backing out into this low ground area and giving Liquid entirety of the high ground. So they can shift over to the right-hand side here, gain more control of both the gate area as well as that right-hand side. Liquid will back away and keep this lane pushed in. Something that also puts a little pressure on BB.
I think normally you'd want to just commit Roche here and force force Liquid to fight into the Wukong.
Yeah.
But the Roche is kind of bad.
Oh, yeah. It's not great.
It is not that fast here, and I don't think you're going to feel good doing it, wasting the IO sustain to potentially keep people full HP.
Yeah.
Kind of an awkward situation for them. They can't force the fight jumping aggressively blind. They can't force the Roche to make Liquid fight into them. Liquid's just going to go farm here.
Yeah, Liquid's getting the better of the engagement right now because BB Team's trying to do the same, but they don't have the same kind of camps available. Liquid are taking Ancients. BB Team's taking a small camp and a medium camp, so they have to go back to the Roshan to be like, okay, we got to pull these Liquid guys into a team fight.
Yeah, this got Mickey to his BKB this whole period. And you still can't jump this DOTA. It's just not going to feel good.
Maybe the chat wheel lines will help spur Liquid into a fight. Now they start poking at this Medusa.
I mean, you can't poke this hero. There's no poke.
Yeah, especially with the shard. He just gets a whole bunch of that mana that they wasted away pretty easily.
I think you have to just smoke and flank here if you're a BB Team. Like, believe in your Lion jump.
Do they have any
Find
smokes?
the right angle.
They've got one. Toronto Tokyo has a smoke. They're going to pop it now. So they take your advice. Miro still puts himself on the front lines.
I think this is the right play, but you have to dodge the Treant on the backside. You have to find a big core target with this Lion. He doesn't have a ward to do it.
They spot Mickey. They want to be able to go for him. They got the Hex on him. Nisha interrupts it, though. He stops that. Primal Roar on the Razor. Just what they wanted. The Eclipse goes out. GPK is committing for the kill, but he's not going to be able to have the Wukong's command is no good here. He gets sliced and diced as the chains bouncing around, and now the Razor is locked in the Overgrowth during his BKB. It has all gone wrong for BB Team, and now they're just desperately trying to save what heroes they can, but they will not be able to get away from Nisha as they bring down the IO as well. 3 go down, and Liquid get just what they needed out of this. A team fight into the second Roshan for them. This brings the game back into their control, a game that has been BB Team's the entire way.
The fast silence there from Nisha just broke that whole team fight apart. It stopped the chain stun from the Lion, interrupted the rest of the team committing in on the initial Hex on the Luna. I mean, that is the target you want if you're BB Team. It's so deep in, it's so hard to connect there. You still have the Hurricane Pike. That is really what disjointed this whole fight. Mickey's quick reaction here creates a gap that BB Team are unable to close. And we're talking about the Dispel items. Saika, he has Manta, he has BKB. He gets like a 2-second drain on a random target that does nothing here. This Razor couldn't do anything in this fight.
Yeah, too much between the Primal Roar, and then he pops Manta at some point, then he gets Overgrowth. He just gets ruined. Absolutely ruined. And now Team Liquid, for what it feels like the first time in this game, are actually up in net worth by 2K, and they've got an Aegis to work with. So we'll see what they get off of the map with that. Nisha, meanwhile, no longer having to think about a BKB, it seems. Is going to work towards an Octarine. And he's also got a lot of experience out of that. Though this pickoff is huge, they still managed to find Mickey here and take away his Aegis. Now, are they going to try and reset off of this one? Wukong's command gets used. Mickey is going to be surrounded, but he has his own BKB to be able to walk away. The drain doesn't last for too long. Nisha's assaulting the back line, trying to go for that Lion. Well, it looks like Insane got found in the corner. He gets cut down by Miro. Now 33. He goes and finds the IO, gets managed to get the Primal Roar on him and brings him down. Saika, meanwhile, has to use his BKB to start backing away. Miro is still a god in the fights. He still has not been taken down once in this, but a short Timber Chain may put him in a backward position. Nisha gets caught. Gorgon's Grasp is not good enough to be able to stop the damage that comes in. They may be rooted, but they're not disarmed. They lay the damage into Nisha as well as Boxy bring those two down, while Miro remained on the front lines, challenged 33 and Mickey, and did not die.
Very clutch stuns from Save here to try and turn the end of that fight, but it was all the Razor and the Timber. Just outputting some serious damage for once. Nightfall able to connect with this Razor on a long duration fight and find his mark, and Nisha going back in at the end. Just ends up getting rooted here. The Gleipnir's very obnoxious for this puck. Doesn't have easy ways out of it a lot of the time. BB able to find an opening in this game where it felt like that period was going to be difficult for them. Just caught Mikke mid. And the biggest thing about that entire exchange was they caught Mikke here initially just with Save going in, but he used Hurricane Pike here right before he dies.
Right.
So he can't really get out of this area, and Liquid feel like they have to commit in deep. You commit a Gorgon's Grasp, you commit a Stone Gaze, and even though Mikke runs away here, he's used everything defensively.
And also this Train Protector getting caught in the sides.
Yeah, that's
Overgrowth was still on cooldown, which is part of the reason I think BB Team forced that fight. The Overgrowth ruined them in the last engagement. They know that. They take advantage of that window. Toronto Tokyo did have to buy back for that. Sick buyback, though. Relocating back in to help Saika as they try to chase after him, turns that entire fight.
It is an expensive IO buyback, and one we're going to have to keep in mind, because that is a tool you ideally want.
And it was almost a dieback there, Toronto
Yeah,
Tokyo. Like 50 HP off the Tormentor.
We have, I mean, there's been a lot that has plagued BB Team in some of these big lands, and Tormentor is up there on the list, you know?
Yeah, honestly, Team Liquid and Tormentor all in one game. That is rough.
It's almost like if BB Team had a choice of their team they want to play, like, would you choose Team Liquid or would you choose Tormentor? I feel like you choose Liquid. You know, the record speaks for itself here.
It really does.
They just have not gotten past this objective in a lot of the games.
All right, second chance to be able to get a shard for somebody important. This one does go to the Luna. So that is a nice pickup in particular because he has the facet that he does. Actually, never mind. I forgot he went the Moonstorm facet. He didn't go the defensive one. I thought you would always go the defensive one, especially against like some of these melee heroes
damage,
like Monkey King, but he just went raw damage.
I think they feel that this team is defensive enough in some ways. Like, you have a lot of BKB piercing control. You have sustain with the Treant.
Yeah,
you have extra armor. You have utility coming out from the Beast. You need someone to deal some deeps. The puck's going to be able to pick it up if this game goes very late here. But Nisha's had the roughest game of anybody. So it's going to be recovery mode for him as...
And this has not been Nisha's tournament quite yet.
No.
Right? He had a little bit of a rough start to things.
I think he's trying to figure out exactly what his hero pool looks like. For me, his KDA has been lower than a lot of these previous tournaments that I've seen from him in terms of finding his flow. This is another game where, like, remember, he started out 0-3. Kind of just a rough lane matchup, got ganked. It's not on him, but he's like your star player for this team. You want him to shine. You want him to be leading the pack.
And that is a story that has continued since EWC, right? Where we had, I mean, he kind of got shut down by Quinn in the first place. So Nisha needing to find his groove.
Liquid needing to find their mark here. Gonna try and jump the Timber, but he already got
ITX. That makes things a little bit harder. The Yules is going to be able to dispel that, but a lot of the damage, can they do enough? Miro gets the help for the relocate. Toronto Tokyo to the rescue. Now, they still do use the Wukong's man. Nisha jumped in after that one. Looks like he's got an orb out to still continue and chase. Toronto Tokyo, his relocate back is going to end soon. Stuck inside the overgrowth. Saika's going to be run down underneath the tier 2, and it seems like BB Team may be running out of steam.
They just don't have enough team fight presence to deal with what Liquid are forcing at them. There's a lot to buy time here. This Stone Gaze going in is really messing up the Razor. That is another fight where Saika gets a 0-second link. It's just instantly broken. And without that, you don't have that big damage threat for the IO to tether up and just deal the deeps. And refresher for 33. I do not think BB Team were ready for this second war coming through. It allows you to commit on this Timber and still have a backup second initiation. Yeah. Huge deal. The Yules as well for the Dispel here on the Timber Saw. A big component that Liquid were missing in some of these early fights. Timber's just not as good a frontline as he used to be. Now all of a sudden we're seeing the extra farm here for Boxy start to hit its mark. Even eyeing up a Hex here as this game goes later. I mean, he is almost doubling up the net worth of the other supports in this game, and that is the big weakness of this IO Lion support duo. Early game is very strong. Your gank potential is very strong. We saw how much they did with it. But if you slip up and you start to give away these objectives, this Medusa is going to do a lot more in the 5-on-5.
There is something really cool about this. He's built up in items for any other support hero. It would leave them being very squishy. But Dusa, every single one of these items, Solar Crest actually gives you a lot of mana. Yule Scepter for the Timber Saw is a great choice, but it just makes the Dusa tankier. And if he gets Scythe next, you know, the Dusa is just going to be a wall.
He also has the infamous bubble shield blink here. So.
Oh yeah, that's super obnoxious. And
He is
Ice Frog,
really
please
annoying.
take that away.
I mean, he just goes in the fight and he stone gazes right in front of the Razor, and it feels like, what is your counterplay? You can't turn on this DOTA.
Yeah.
It takes too long to kill. You can't play the fight if you're Nightfall here because you're just getting BKB piercing stun from multiple sources.
Yeah, I really thought that with the lead that they had, the Razor was going to be able to take over some of these fights, but I forgot about Stone Gaze for one. It seems like the combination of Overgrowth and Primal Roar and Stone Gaze has just made the fights impossible for this Razor to get long duration links. And
Okay, well,
that's why he needs a refresher.
Yeah, he has Satanic. So you have your triple Dispel build up, you build a refresher, you have 6 Dispels. If that's not enough to get something done on this Razor, then, well, you can blame your team, I guess. It's not all.
Yes. You still need to be the initiators on the team fight, though, right?
But
that has proven to be harder and harder for Save as the game is going on.
If this Timber can't frontline for vision, or even if he does, but you don't see good targets, I just don't know what you're jumping at this point if you're Save.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, BB Team, you might have to just commit on Boxy when he goes in and
Look at that damage just from the first Lucent Beam. Gets the Axe off, and immediately Boxy blinks in, hits the Yules. That's the Dispel. Miro, he's going to be safe for the relocate. Now Psycha goes in. He does manage to get the link this time around on Mickey, but he can't quite commit for it. He actually has to back away. His team has called that it's time to reset. The first time he gets a good link and he can't commit for it. Save actually goes back in. They go for the Beastmaster. See if they can blow him up. It's close, but they do manage to get him before the Hex runs thin. Now GPK in the middle of all these things with his lifesteal and his BKB, but he's going to start backing up, kiting away Mickey. BD Team are beginning to break Liquid a little bit here as they've gotten one pick off, turns to a second one with a Tree Protector, and now it's time for the DOTA. The tanky DOTA against 4 is not going to be a match for this unless the Blink Dagger with that stupid bubble. Please. They do manage to catch him anyway, the Blink Board and the Gleipnir, so will not allow Liquid to be able to escape unscathed.
Boxy is abusing that mechanic to the maximum here. I mean, what can you say? Tier 1 neutral items, pretty good, right? 40 minutes in the game.
You know what's funny about that is I know 33 also uses that when he does the offlane DOTA, so.
It is a good RNG pickup here. Still, going back that fight, very successful for BB Team, and a big portion of it that we saw, not really committing too much on this initial clash. I mean, there's some miscommunication here, but the biggest thing is they want the Beastmaster. They want 33 in this fight. They do not want him roaring multiple people, so they commit the first line jump plus the Wukong on him. Liquid are able to kite it out, but they use the Luna BKB and the Eclipse here on the Razor, who just is able to tank it up, and then a second round of Impale Hex on 33. He just didn't get to play Dota in this fight at all, and that was really what allowed them to take the long fight here.
Yeah, I did not expect the solution to the team fight being BB Team resetting and going again, especially without Refresher yet on the Razor. Like, I thought as soon as they didn't commit on the Link, I thought their fight was kind of over, but they did find their opportunity in the Beastmaster, and as you said, that does relieve a lot of things for BB Team.
And this IO does give you some sustain. Like, Toronto Tokyo has gotten to his lock at Mech Solar. He is pretty beefy for an IO. The Razor has a lot of HP on top of that, so if you can bait out damage onto the Timber and the Razor and reset that way, where GPK has a better fight, he can maintain his HP levels, and he can commit in later. It's not impossible to play longer fights here if you're BB Team, but you have to deal with that Double Roar. If Double Roar comes out, it's an entirely different story.
Sure.
BKB for the Timber is going to help Nero frontline as well. Can't really dispel him anymore.
More and more upgrades in damage. The Luna getting a second Lucent Beam hit in these team fights.
He is very far ahead XP-wise.
Yeah.
Nobody's close. Well, I guess Miro's fairly close.
Yeah, Miro just not dying for the longest time has managed to keep his experience high. Another one is the Puck, I think. The Puck is going to be a dangerous level 25 for BB Team, right? Because that just adds one more way to be able to kite some of these heroes, and even through BKB.
Nisha holding onto that Aeon Disc Assembly.
Yes.
That could be very clutch in one of these engagements where BB Team commit on him with the Lion, think they have him caught, and then assemble. See you later. A lot of very small mechanics that could come out here to win either fight.
They're going to try First Roar. First Roar going to be put to use here, getting the Timber Saw low. He gets off this BKB, and now it's Aghanim Scepter and Liquid start backing backing away, backpedaling as much as they can, though they're still going to be caught as the flamethrower is slowing them down quite a bit here, and Psycha gets in the middle of it. Gets caught, though, from Aurora once again being put in. A Stone Gaze has also put him a little bit in a hold here. Overgrowth going to be popped. Immediately tries to deal with that one. Psycha does start getting a drain. It's on Boxy. The IO is going to go down, though. Nisha's wrecking the back line, though. He's gone for the line. Finishes him up. Miro's dropping low, and he's not going to make it out. Turns around, tries to fight Mickey. It's not going to work for you.
BB team just running out of gas here. Liquid able to kite it out. Didn't even really get the good connections on the roar targets they wanted. It's more like roar and retreat.
Yeah.
But pick your point, and they go back to this high ground obs, baited this fight into their vision, into a turnaround position, and just out-tanked BB team. You got a solid link, but if this Luna can sit there and start to deal the damage, there's no one who really contests them. And once more a fight. Man, this game, it just feels like it hinges on how much this Razor can get done. Like some of these fights, Nightfall, he cleans up the fight. Something like that, he just gets nothing done. He just gets caught in Stone Gaze. He's stunned for 10 seconds. He wishes he was a different hero. It is miserable for him in some of these engagements, and there's just no way around it if you don't get a good jump.
Worse and worse with, another refresher shard going the way of Liquid. So now you've got, that next team fight could be Puck getting level 25 and had double coil that pierces debuff immunity. That's going to be nasty. They also have other answers for the Timber Saw as well with a nullifier from the Beast, and they are going to be approaching the high ground now.
They're going to try and force it here before that Timber 25 comes online. Did get the refresher for the Razor. So this Nightfall has a lot more presence now. At least can go for 2 blinks. The first one's bad. But can you repel Liquid here? Maybe a push that came later in this game than they would have wanted, but it came nonetheless.
And that'll be a second lane of barracks.
No contest.
About 15 minutes after the first one got taken, but as you said, Liquid gets there inevitably.
And look at the confidence here. 33, he wasn't even at this push.
Oh yeah,
like, they're not gonna go on you guys. I'm gonna keep farming up. Get the third lane in. We're gonna push for Megas here. Smoke out from BB team. They do not want to let Liquid get a good formation here into the last lane.
Yeah, with the Beastmaster so far away,
it's a risky
they
move.
Can catch Liquid close, or maybe they're gonna go for the Beastmaster first.
Oh yeah, they won 33. That is what this game is about. Will they find him here on a random line?
Catch him isolated, catch him on the hard camp, already down to half. Easy kill. Overgrowth comes too late. Now Psycha. He's found his mark. Got the link on to Mickey. Just what he wants. With a refresh and a Manta, there is no way for Mickey to be able to fight through this one. They're trying to deal with the Razor as best they can. Another refresh coming out from Mickey, but the rest of the BB team, they've already drained away the damage. And now with the second life, Mickey is going to be fighting underneath a Wukong's command with a Razor that's buffed up the hell with lots of damage. A Yule's on an illusion. That's not what they wanted. Psycha starts backing himself away. GPK underneath the Wukong's command. It's got to be enough. All 3 of these cores from BB team will push through and take down Liquid. The team fights continue to go around, and they still got him. Nisha's not getting away. Got him on the Hex. That's 4 down from Liquid.
Save with the buyback just to clean up that puck at the very end. Get what they came for. A very risky maneuver for BB team as they leave their base. Look for the flank, and they find it absolutely perfectly. That is not a warded play. That is just looking at 33 pushing that top lane, getting a little greedy, and taking the risk to get the reward. Nightfall gets the team fight of his dreams. Just a full duration link on the Luna, and he's just holding refresher the whole time. An ace up the sleeve. There's no way to turn that against the Razor in this engagement. And with 33 out, no buyback for this Beastmaster, it's just so hard to turn this fight if you're Liquid. I'm surprised they lasted as long as they did, honestly.
Yeah, seriously. I thought this fight was over right here. I didn't think it was going to be close at all, but they still managed to come in with some of these heroes and do some damage. And Mickey stood up against these heroes a bit better than I expected, but it was inevitable.
He had a refresher of his own. It's just, you're stuck in that Wukong. You're stuck against the second Razor round. It's way too much for him. And now BB team getting to push Liquid back once again in this game. Perhaps take a lane of their own. Not a lot of buybacks available for Liquid here. They kind of all in on their cores.
Jump forward from Miro, seeing if he can get another pick off. But Liquid, they're playing it very safe. They're going to make sure that they have all their heroes up. 1 lane of barracks, not even that, just half a lane. It's not that big of a deal when they've already taken mid as well.
I will say one thing. The best team fights in this game for BB team have come playing into Liquid when they have an Aegis. I don't know what that means, but
yeah,
it has gone very well for them in the 5-on-6. When it's even numbers, it's been a bit murkier. Hex done for Boxy. Another big component. Look for the initiations here. They got the Timber 25, took the Timber Jane range. We are going to try and play more aggressively with it. And they're still looking for the Monkey 25 as well. GPK gets this extra Wukong ring. Could be a very big deal.
Oh, that's got to be massive.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of these fights. The Luna barely gets out of the ring with a Hurricane Pike or some other, you know, maybe the Monkey gets roared, something like this. Larger ring just prevents all that. It makes your Roche a lot more secure. We're not going to see the same problem we saw earlier if this game goes to another Roshan where BB Team were unable to force the objective. They're going to be able to force this next one. Oh, save, you are. Oh, very
He spotted. Silence Coil on 2. Boxy's going to jump forward. Hits him with the Hex as well. They're going to turn to deal with Boxy. But the Psycha! He just got blown up. And GPK may have gotten off his BKB and his Wukong Command. He'll stay alive for a bit. But his team is getting sliced and diced on the outside. Not Miro, though. He's tanking with that Aghanim Scepter. He had a Refresher BKB. He jumps forward, trying to finish off more. Now pops the Refresher. He may have gotten the Train Protector. But how much can you do all by your lonesome, Miro? You are stuck in... an absolute liquid hell of 5 heroes with a buyback coming out from Insania after his death. BB Team, I respect trying to play for a win here. They won a team fight. They're looking for more pickoffs. They're playing really close to Liquid's base, but being spotted just outside of the base on the low ground was a death sentence.
That is such a high-risk, high-reward play. I mean, that could easily have been a 3 or 4-man impale from that line. Instead, it just backfires horribly.
Yeah.
I think it's extra Luna night vision here.
Oh, yeah,
It's
you're right.
probably what just caught him on the edge of it. And, I mean, Psycha just got exploded, man. That is an insane amount of burst damage going in this Razor. He instantly buys, but he has no way to get here. So this buyback is just wasted. I mean, you're going to get the lanes out. You would have had to commit it anyway. So you're at least putting it on the timer. Just a disaster of a push.
And you can see the danger of giving Liquid the initiation there with the Swift Blink and the Glaives on the Luna. She can get right on top of somebody. She's hitting you. She's loosen beaming you. The Glaives are surrounding her, doing additional damage.
Early PKP, try and find something here. You don't have your Lion, though, for the lockdown.
Yeah, they're missing that crucial bit of initiation, and Liquid, they can finish up Megas here, guaranteed. But they're a little bit skittish about what the team fight looks like after that, especially with some of their buybacks being down like they are. Miro, nice impale, hits on 3, Save goes for it, hits the finger onto the Beastmaster and get the kill, but still though, the Luna, oh my god, the Luna! She is doing damage and she will take BB Team out of this game.
I've never seen a better impale turn into more destruction against your own team. Save doing what he can, but in the end, it is not nearly enough here as, man, that late game Luna looked absolutely terrifying. You have to commit in with the Monkey King and the Timber. You get in close range of these extra glaives. He has all the power up he needs. Auras galore behind him, sustain behind him, multiple BKB piercing ults and spells between Roar, Overgrowth, and Stone Gaze that just made Psycha's life miserable. Very well executed here in the late game from Liquid.
And it's going to be a hard question for BB Team as they look back on the tape from this game. They had the lead. They won the laning phase. They had the momentum, and it still wasn't enough to take down their nemesis in Liquid. What's it going to take? Maybe the panel has some answers.
We'll definitely try and find some answers, give as much information as possible, because when we were seeing BB Team play out this early game, we were so impressed. It felt like the complete opposite of how we had seen them play throughout the group stage. And we're like, this is the tempo you need to bring it to Liquid. Unfortunately, though, Liquid know how to deal with that a little bit, Jenkins. They were able to itemize correctly, especially on that Beastmaster, going for the Ags, the Blink, the Refresher pretty much immediately, and they were able to turn team fights what felt like from that moment.
Yeah, they were actually getting them for BB Team. Like they did the gotcha, we picked what you like to pick strategy, the Lion and the Io. I really liked. These are two very fast heroes. Lion, Blink Dagger, we didn't see some, Solar Crest on the Lion. He went for the early Blink, and then we saw a lot of Io relocates. 33 was absolutely clutching this game. I think his team played around him really well as well. Like you were mentioning when we were watching, like Nisha was doing a lot of backline jumping and kind of like poking to let 33 hit the right targets. But I think the moment that the game turned for Liquid was when he got his Refresher Orb. And there was that one fight where Miro got relocated out, and it looked like pretty much the worst possible thing for Liquid to happen. But because he had the refresher orb, he was able to re-engage after the reload and kill somebody with the roar. So pretty much every fight up until the last one was like, if Beast died first, BB team would win. If Beast didn't die first, then Liquid would win the fight. So it just became this game of cat and mouse. And Save was doing a really good job, by the way, at actually catching 33. It's just that at a certain point, like, both teams realized what had to happen for the game to be won, and they did a really good job playing around 33.
Yeah, I felt like at the start, Save needed to take out Nisha, make sure that they could take him out of the fight, and then Nisha was really good at making sure both the IO and the Lion were silenced. They weren't able to save their cause there, but is there anything else that really led to the demise of BB Team here, Winter?
I feel like late game is gonna be tough, you know. Like, you're up against like triple BKB piercing disables, the Trian, the Beastmaster, and the DOTA, and it's gonna limit a lot of your damage potential from your Razor. And I feel like what Nisha did really well was he hunted the support, the backline, and it allowed especially the Beastmaster to find them, you know, because he's really good at poking and prodding. Whereas I guess the Monkey King was trying to do the same thing, and apart from the Beastmaster being a really focal point in the team fights, I feel like there's two supports on both sides. They are trying really hard to stay away from the actual fight so that they can get their spells off.
We've seen a lot of these heroes time and time again. One that we haven't seen yet in the Road to the International Fear is the Medusa, and it went into a pose 4. A lot of people might be wanting to emulate this and the builds, the items that Boxy went for himself. How did he make it work? How did he make it look good for his team and add value to these team fights in the laning?
Well, I think a lot of it comes down to just like you're playing around the utility of like the new mana shield is incredibly strong. It's better than the old one at earlier levels. That's why you look at its support. And then you also have the ability of like being able to use your ultimate and to stop people and the Gorgon Grass. And of course, like this new neutral item, the safety bubble on Medusa, makes it doesn't disable Blink Dagger. It's like total BS right now. Like you can just like do damage to her because it takes 2% of the damage to HP. It takes like, 98% longer to get through the safety bubble, which means you can't get through it, which means it doesn't disable Dagger. So he's able to come in and out of the fights as he pleases. Very difficult to kill. It reminds me of Dota of old, where Blink Dagger just never got disabled, and the only way you can kill heroes is by perma-stunning them, or they're just gonna blink away. And that's exactly what Boxy's able to do in this game. Kept a level 1, tier 1 neutral item for the entirety of the game.
You really wanted to set him off, and it worked.
Yeah, of course I did. Literally, the whole point of my job is to poke the buttons to push the bear.
So yeah, if you are,
I like it.
If you are playing your
this.
pubs, if you get safety bubble on Medusa, which is by chance, it's
you
not even guaranteed.
You can rush Blink Dagger.
You have to go Blink Dagger.
you
If
have
don't-
to.
If you
It's
don't
like
get
one
it,
item, then blink.
you don't have to buy Blink.
Yeah.
Wait, but he also
buy normal items.
He also bought Solar Crest, and now my question is: can you first item Solar Crest, and does it work in the same way where it enables you to go blink, or is he doing this because supports should just inherently being sold?
I mean,
by
it's,
Solar
it's
Crest?
not the same because you don't
Okay.
always have it on you. And
I'll
have
tell
True, you can put it on your cores. And
I can tell you the build because I've seen
course
33.
you would do this.
I've seen 33 do this before. He will go for like whatever team items he thinks that he needs. He'll hold the safety bubble in his stash, and then when he thinks that okay, I'm done with the team items, and when he wants the Blink Dagger, that's when he'll take the safety bubble back out. So he will legitimately use a tier 4 neutral item and then replace it with a tier 1 neutral item when he believes that it's time for the Blink Dagger. Which, of course, he was not playing Medusa this game. He did get his last pick, Beastmaster, but he played this so exceptionally well. There was one fight where he, I don't remember who it was that he roared. It was the Razor, I think, and the Razor was being tethered to by Io. And I was like, what? Why would you not roar the Io instead? But it was a distraction roar because they were actually killing GPK on the other side of the fight. So Liquid was doing a really good job at splitting the fights and playing them in a very complex way where normally roaring a Razor who's tethered with the Eye, it's like, well, you didn't roar the safe hero, you lose the fight. But in reality, it was because his team was making the call. We're killing GPK on the other side. Just distract the Razor. Just distract everybody else. We'll kill GPK, and then we'll go back in with a refresher, and then we'll take out the save heroes.
Yeah, and he kind of got to a really good start because of how they played the early game. The Trian and Luna, they kind of lost their lane against the Lion and the Timber, and they decided to, okay, fine, we can't really do much in our lane. Let's just try and help our offlane. They gated like around 5 minutes, and they killed the Razor, and they helped 33 get a really, really good start. Even though they kind of completely didn't have a lane at top.
Yeah, that was a significantly earlier rotation than normal. You know, we've grown an adjustment to people rotating around the 6 or 7 minute
catapult
through
wave.
the twin gate. But to do it so early, knowing your lane was going as bad as it was, yeah, it was really good to see Liquid make that small adjustment for themselves. But BB Team, they had that great early game, weren't able to get a win for it. So what's your fallback here? Because you were trying to match the tempo of Liquid, couldn't close it out. Do you go back to what also hasn't really been working of wanting to go for a later game?
No, I think you just have
so.
to do what you did this game, but just do it better.
Play the fight. Play the fights.
But just actually win the game?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds harsh, but it is really that simple. Like, they did the right thing. I was impressed with their strategy, how they're executing it. Things are going very well for them, but just the team fights, they got outplayed.
They
right?
did,
That's all that really happened in team fighting. So that's not something that you can just like fix in a draft. Like, these are some of the best teams in the world. Liquid, they are no stranger to getting top 2 or even winning tournaments recently. This is a really good team. If you want to be able to beat them, you're just going to have to play a little bit better.
I also do question the amount of lockdown. I know IO is just a stereotypical pairing that you like to have with Razor. It did help the team in a lot of different ways, but Pose 5 pool right now, I think, is maybe the widest it had been. Was it because of the bans they felt they wanted to go the IO, or is this like a Toronto-Tokyo comfort?
It's just, I think, the pace of the game. You know, they're trying to like play fast, but at the same time, you're able to utilize the map, split push, and catch heroes. Because I feel like Liquid, they play really, really good in the mid game because they are able to utilize the map well. Like, they're really efficient. And on top of it, they kind of have like, maybe they already thought about picking Monkey King earlier, so they wanted like some support that can have some global presence. When the Monkey King finds a target, they're gonna get some pickoffs, you know, during that stage of the game, and would allow them to catapult themselves ahead, like through those 1 or 2 pickoffs.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a pacing thing. If they're going to get some disable, I honestly love the IO and the pairing with the Lion. I would get it from some other role because I actually think the supports were good in this one, and they were. The fact that they were in this game was what let them play early tempo against Liquid. And I agree. It's literally honestly, that was just immaculate team fighting from both sides. Like, depending on which fight you look at in the game, one team figured out something that they could do to win the fight and beat the strategy that was used in the previous one. It was just mind games.
And I feel like if you
forth.
replay those team fights, you're gonna get like very different results.
Yeah,
every
exactly.
different time, you know.
Like, there was one where we saw Save jump in and just straight up suicide. Like, he died. He just jumps in, hexes, and then immediately stuns. He didn't do the thing where he hexes, waits a little.
Yeah, you wait till the bars
wait till the
close.
bars at the bottom and then stun. He's like, no, I know I'm gonna die. He goes in, he stuns because he catches the Beastmaster, right? And this was also after Liquid was poking on the Timbersaw, and we're like, what the hell are they doing? Like, you're not gonna kill a Timbersaw. They were poking. They wanted to reveal the backlines. But also, BB Team at this time, Save was looking for the Beastmaster because he realized if we kill Beast, we're going to win the fight. So there's just mind games going both ways. And
yeah, and imagine coordinating all those stuff like when the moment is so stressful for everybody. It's so impressive.
I would love to hear the comms from both sides. I think it would be very interesting to hear.
I would have loved to see a little bit more of playing around the Monkey King, because I feel like every fight they lost is because Monkey just died, and I don't think Toronto-Tokyo's even prioritized the Monkey even once as an IO in this particular game. If maybe they could have kept the MK up a little more, potentially this game could have been different. As you guys mentioned, there's so many different things they could have done, which would have changed a lot of different things. And that's why I really think like their draft is fine. And I think the big thing they do have to worry about when playing against Liquid is not getting ran over. And they didn't get ran over at this game. And a lot of that had to do with this because they picked faster heroes, especially on Nightfall. He wasn't playing a very greedy hero. The tempo was there. They got the first part of the equation down. They just need to work on the second half.
They almost have it. They're almost able to get the answer to be able to beat Liquid there. See if they're able to figure out what that second half of the equation is going to be for them exactly. The Lion facet is a bigger question, maybe for some of our viewers. What are the two options, and why are we always seeing them go, what is it called? Fist death? Death fist?
Fist
Punch people.
Death, I think.
Death-defying punch?
So this facet originally was considered the meme facet, where you finger and then your hero turns to be melee. You gain
With cleave?
You gain some cleave, and then you gain bonus right-click damage based on how many finger stacks you have. And this was considered a meme until people realized, hey, when you punch somebody with this and they die, it's applying the debuff that gives you extra finger damage when they die. So you can, hypothetically, in a fight, kill 5 heroes you just punch them once. You don't even have to kill them. And then you get 5 finger stacks, which scales also with the talent that gives you HP per finger stack. You're getting more damage on the finger itself for the next fight. Yep. So people are going for this one. The other one adds damage to the mana drain. So it pretty much makes him into Old Lion, except I think instead of 50% damage, it's 100%. So it's better, a little better than Old Lion in a way. But everybody's just opting to go for the...
as well.
It's way less cool. It's way less badass.
Less flashy.
You said you like the Shadow Blade build on the hero?
Oh, I do. I think that's cool.
Do you want to share a little bit more?
You're just playing to be a right clicker in a way, but you're just running around solo killing people, which is really cool for pubs. And Fury, you're saying Jin Q does this build?
Oh yeah, I mean I just saw Jin Q do it.
Is it Blink then Shadowblade or Shadowblade first?
You don't go Blink at all.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's insane.
That's Giga Chat.
No Blink.
I think he went drums into Shadowblade.
This man knows what he wants.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? You get the drums early, you Shadowblade, hex him, finger, pop the drums, kill him.
It's so strange, right? All the position 4 heroes that they are playing right now and the items that they are buying is just so different. If you have told someone, oh, this is how you play position 4, like a couple of years ago, people would think that you're crazy,
100%. I mean, even now, hearing the idea of Lion having that build, I still think is pretty crazy. But when you do write it all down or you look at the numbers, it does make sense. It stacks. It has that synergy for them there. We do have a very slight delay, but Game 2 will be coming our way in a short moment, so don't go too far, guys. The draft is really not that far away. We see a lot of changes in the bans coming out here. It was the Doom, the Sand King, the Wind Ranger, the Shadow Demon, Naga, Ench, and Nature's Prophet. They feel all very meta, and I'm not sure I would want to let any of those through.
I don't think so. I feel like we might see like a repeat in something very, very similar. If the adjustment is going to happen, it's probably just going to be one.
Only one of those heroes let through?
It's hard to say though.
I'm kind of feeling these days, who cares Nature's Prophet? It doesn't look that good.
Yeah.
I really don't feel like it looks as good as it did on the previous patch. The ult isn't...
It was busted last week.
It was busted last week, but with the damage reduction on the base amount, it means that the total amount when it hits every single creep on the map, which is what people are playing for, is not what it once was. You don't last hit every single creep wave that's appearing on the map, and then I think people are doing better at countering it too.
I haven't seen enough of it on carry, but that's like the one position where I think it still has a lot of merit. I think the support, not so much. Because
I mean, it's mostly just carry mid at the moment.
I don't really like the mid very much because I feel like mid has a very particular set of abilities that you want to have, like these pucks and stuff like that can rotate on the map that NP doesn't do. He's just a carry from the mid lane. Why not just put him on the carry position and just be this hyper fast team that can just be around the map, take all the team fights? I just feel like on carry, it doesn't get enough love. And if it's not going to be a carry hero, I don't feel like you should prioritize it as heavily.
Look, the stats do back you guys up as well. It's been picked 8 times, has a 37% win rate. So people have somewhat figured it out. Most of the wins have been on that carry position, though, and most of the losses being...
I mean, it's also because of the lane. I feel like you can't really abuse people from the mid lane because the lane is short, right? So your Treant can't really bully the other hero as much. But if you're on the safe lane, you get to bully the other 2 heroes a lot more.
Yeah.
Makes a little more sense. But our Game 2 and our best of 3 draft has popped up here. I did ask the question, is anything really going to change up? And so far, the answer is no. Both these teams are very confident in not allowing these heroes to get through.
Hey, they swap sides, right? That's the only thing that changed.
That is the only thing that has changed. Yes. They have swapped sides. But it's still going to be BB team with the first pick. They opened up with Timber last time.
It
was
Treant,
it was
then
Liquid
Timber.
with
It was Treant, then
and
Timber.
Timber was the...
teams turn
I like
change
the
the size and change it first.
I like the Timber from BB team. I feel like Miro played it extremely well, made a lot of space. They're going to go with the Nature's Prophet that we just talked about for about 5 minutes about how bad we think it is.
I mean, what does it tell you? They
mid.
opted to ban Wind Ranger and pick MP,
What does that tell you?
They're going to stay away from Wind Ranger.
Okay,
For the next
you think
few
that's
games.
that's a Nightfall problem?
Yeah, it's like I'm done, I don't think I can play this hero well.
But NP is Nightfall an NP player here.
remaining.
It doesn't really strike me.
It really does not strike.
So the thing is he has to adapt to this tournament, right? This tournament's all about the Gleipnir ranged heroes and picking your carry early, right? And that is just something that typically Nightfall doesn't like to do. He likes to be one of those last pick Battle Fury type of heroes that farms it up. So unfortunately for him, not the best patch for him, but it is what it is. He's going to have to adapt here. What I found a little interesting, I was kind of looking at the stats for this tournament. Radiant win rate right now is 56%, which means Dire's 43%. So then that's a huge difference here. And just like looking at first pick win rate, also 56% win rate, and second pick win rate, 43% win rate. So it's very clear here that people want to be first pick and Radiant. That is the ideal situation.
Yeah, what I'm really seeing though is a 100% win rate on Liquid's Treant Protector. That's all that really matters here.
It was once that they picked it. Is that
3 times?
3 times? Oh, that's actually not bad then. That's pretty good.
I like how you're ready to meme on it. Like,
I thought you were
like,
me. You're just smiling deviously.
They picked it twice. In
Okay,
group.
you're smiling because you like Treant Protector.
Yes.
I mean, I can't believe it took so long before people realized this hero is actually so strong. He even
Thank
got
you.
nerfed a couple of times the last few months.
Yeah. And this man is still being picked up. The tree sapling facet is the one that you want to go with. Plant a tree on your leech
Not
seed.
would I go.
Well, then what's your win rate on
Place
Treant Protector?
carry tree.
I have 0 and 1 on carry tree.
Okay, well, so what you want to do is you want to go the sapling tree. It turns your leech seed into a tree that you plant on because it's no longer a target. Like you can ground target it, and if it gets chopped down immediately, it just respawns itself. So anyone with a quelling blade can't actually cut it down. So it's really good in lane.
I quell it anyway because it feels like I'm doing something.
Yeah, and then
You
it
gotta
just
quell it.
immediately
You
back
gotta-
up, and then you quell it again, and it bombs back up again. And I'm like, cool, bro.
satisfying.
It's nice because it makes you invis when you put the tree down in a fight.
Yeah.
And it also makes
If
it
you
so
get
that
the shard.
If you get the
You
shard.
have to tell people who might not be Treant spammers. You
right.
need the
I mean,
shard to
at,
be
at the very
invis
least,
in
it
trees.
activates your innate.
The
which-
shot on Treant is like BKB on Nightfall. He
10
gets it every
seconds
game.
Yeah, you have
Every
to.
game.
Yeah, you have to. For a guy that didn't know what the Nightfall was,
He's
you-
leaning
you
into the
really
meme a
leaned
lot.
into it well. I applaud that, good sir. But the best thing about it, in my opinion, is like this is one of the few not nerfed into the ground healing heroes. Like the amount of ability this hero has to just group up and push by dropping the sapling, and your team gets healed to full. You can go Holy Locket, Greaves, Solar, these team items. Even the Treant Living Armor, putting that on your carry and just buffing them so they win the carry
only thing they
matchup.
nerfed was the move speed, right? From
That's
the
it.
start.
Yeah, that's
they
it.
nerfed it twice.
So I still think it's excellent, and the invis is really all you need to set up on people around the map.
10
The ult being
remaining.
BKB piercing as well is always something that is very
5
valuable, because even though BKB is not as prevalent as it was before, where it's like 5 BKBs in a game, still there's some really important like Giga carry that's being buffed up by all these auras, where if they get a BKB, the way you play the fight is wait until that guy BKBs, press ult, you've won the fight.
And that's his early and mid game, right? Like talking about his late game, he's one of the best late game position fights with the axe. You know, you have so much map control. It's like if you get to that stage as Trent, I feel like it's so difficult to lose the game.
Yeah, I mean, the axe is also good. Not only are you giving vision with it, but it pairs with your overgrowth now that if a hero is within range of the tree that you gave the blessing to, they get overgrowth as well. So you don't even necessarily...
hero, it's for creeps,
And
man. You're
jungle
farming.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Forgot about the jungle.
We play this very differently, Winter. We play this
I
very
put a
differently.
tree in every jungle camp.
Of course you do. Of
Is this
course
a
you do.
Treant
Of course.
Protector panel or what? I'm-
Yes. I
Okay,
mean,
we can talk about the other
the theme of this TI is green,
It's fine.
tree
That is
protector,
true.
He
having
doesn't
a
like.
resurgence.
He doesn't like. He's the carry player.
I've
The
got 3
trees are.
support players here just like talking about
Yes,
3 for
He's
30
used, to
minutes.
Of course.
he's used to the tree sitting in lane, not like just sitting there and watching. I get that; those are bad trees, not the good trees. But I will say, one hero that is quite good against tree is the Bat Rider. Finding him in the trees very easy. The napalm no longer gives vision, but still, just your ability to like blink and catch him is quite annoying. I like the pivot in a sense from BB. I guess it's not that much of a pivot, but they're instead of winning team fights, they're looking to play for pickoffs with the
10
natures
seconds
Yeah,
remaining.
plus the Bat Rider.
I kind of like them more when they are playing a 4 ganking hero, like a
5
blink dagger
seconds
hero, rather than
remaining.
just stacking auras on top.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like they excel more with this type of draft.
I agree. I like this. It's the same fast pace, but in a different way.
Yeah. I want to cover a little bit since we covered the support topic. I'm going to carries now.
Please do, yeah.
So like this Mirana pick is looks really scary for Liquid because I know Boxy's been playing this for a very long time. He's really good at the hero, but I look at like these like Lina, Mirana type of heroes, Wind Ranger that are super popular right now, and it really makes me think of Mickey. Like these are like his best heroes that he really likes to play.
He plays it when they're bad.
He plays them when they're bad. Like if I look at like these Ames, these Nightfalls, I can't picture their face on like a Mirana, right? But I can see Mickey playing these heroes. So having an early pick and the ability to flex these heroes, like this is probably the best carry patch that Mickey I've ever seen him have the opportunity to play his heroes.
I think he will end up, depending how far Liquid go in the tournament, you know, like we don't know what's going to happen. He is going to have one of the biggest
This is his
hero
patch.
pools. Yeah,
this
I
is
think
his
he will
patch.
have the biggest carry hero pool throughout the
I mean, or the smallest. I don't know. It's one of the two. It's either he's just gonna first pick like Wind Ranger or Mirana every game, right?
Yeah.
But
Bottom line is he's a very strong carrier right now.
Yeah,
based
he is.
on
Don't
the,
put words in my mouth,
the
Jake.
heroes that are.
you can put those words
Popular.
in my mouth. I will regurgitate them back.
All right, Baby Bird. Speaking of birds, I don't know how to segue this. Dark Willow picked up.
Wings?
Boxy, right? She flies. Boxy is one of the few players that is still willing to play the Willow. I remember the patch where they made it so you can't put the Bedlam on an ally. Pretty much everybody considered this hero to be dead. And then within a week, it was like 55% win rate and still winning every pub.
Every other OP thing got nerfed too, you know?
Yeah, so everything else got nerfed.
Wow, all right. I mean, the thing about the Dark Wheel, what she's going to be doing well here is, number one, she builds seals, so it's very good against Kanka. And the Bedlam and all the control she has with the Terrorize the Fear is very good when dealing with a Bat Rider initiation. When I'm playing Bat, Willow is one of those heroes that I really dislike playing into.
I also think it's the complete opposite of what he was playing game number one when he had the Medusa, is that the Dark Willow wants to rotate to mid. He's going to be able to be more of that active position 4 and help his cause a little bit
it's
more.
definitely more useful, less greedy than a Medusa.
And he was bored game one because he's like, I have to play Medusa. Like 33 told me to pick it, and then all of a sudden it's a good Beastmaster game. He's making me play it. Like,
The thing is, he had an almost 94% kill participation. Boxy.
Still,
in
it's
game
like,
one.
you're like, oh guys, I hit the Gorgon's Grasp. Like go. It's not exciting. It's not an exciting thing to be the Medusa. I can tell you that much. It was 33 that ruined that for him. That's why he got picked earlier in the draft. He's going to have a good time on the Willow this time.
I mean,
They banned
Liquid-
out Nightfall Classics here.
They really think they're not going to play this NP as a carry. That is interesting. I mean, it's not particularly... I mean, it's not good. It's not bad against the Beastmaster. But I think a lot of these teams are prioritizing their mid for their last picks here. I think it's really important you get these bans and pick correctly, especially if you are not last pick. Monkey King getting banned, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, the thing is, the BB team, Konka could go mid, it could go off lane. Same with NP, it could be carry, it could be off lane. Let's see what they go for. And they're just going to go back to the Nightfall, like what his signature classics are. He likes building Radiance, he likes building Battle Fury, he likes being that one of those slower type carries here. And this is what I was a little worried about going in
I thought they were
against
gonna do
Liquid
this.
as well. So I was hoping they wouldn't do this, right?
That's true.
But like it can still work. This is what he's good at. But even as Blitz said in the interview, like
5 seconds remaining.
he's in 20 minutes if things go well for them. He thinks he can take down their buildings really quick. And this Alchemist hero, if he has a bad landing stage, he's not coming online for a while.
It looks like BB Team also anticipated that Liquid would try to run a mid lane counter to the Alk, like a mid lane game counter, like Nisha Timber would have been really good. But I kind of feel like Liquid is the type of team to see this Alk and then say, this is fine. Like, we'll pick a hero that makes our draft better rather than like countering. Let's see, is the Puck still available?
Yeah, he just play Puck.
I could see them just
zero
going for
stuns.
Puck. Yeah, even though it's not like particularly good against Alchemist, it's just normal. It's fine.
What do you feel about like a Pango primal hero? You can invade the jungle and attack the Alchemist when he's farming.
That's also good. I like both of those. Just something to round together the Liquid draft, a hero that will initiate. Because right now they don't really have it. They have like Treant running in front.
NP
with
has to
Hard.
go mid, right? There's no chance of Konka going mid.
Primal would be amazing actually against the Konka or the NP. It's like the hard counter to nature as you press stomp and
Dragonite?
run through the trees because of the DK. Okay.
Fire Dragon or what?
It always fire. I mean, I feel like a lot of the players have realized that, you know, Frost Dragon doesn't really do anything for you, right? You get it, but like you're not pressuring towers, you're not farming faster. Maybe in the ultra late game it'll have some uses, but like you can't think that far in the future. The Poison Dragon, maybe it'll help you take a tower. It's still viable, but I think it's been nerfed so much, it's not that great. Whereas if you do go to the Fire Dragon, yeah, you're going to have the same laning stage as before, but you're going to always have a way to get farmed and get your items. And I feel like that's just more valuable.
Is the beast mode facet the one that gives you more attack speed based on how many creeps you have?
No, that's Wild Hunt.
That's Wild Hunt.
Beast mode is the one you activate and apply.
That's the activate. Okay, so that is the one that he chose. So
that means he's going Ag.
He's going to go Ags this game. Because I was thinking maybe you could up the pace against Alk by going for the Helm Dom, but it went so well last game with the Aghanim Scepter, the double roar.
You're playing versus Chen. I mean,
they're just literally
That's true.
trying to outscale them, like survive the point of time where the elk is going to be a monster, and then get to the point where elk is like slowly coming down. Everyone's
I reckon he's just going to
they-
rush
they-
Ags. He's just going to rush Ags. They're going to go for an early Rosh again, and they're just going to push. I feel like they're going to try and make as much as they can.
That is
with
true.
it.
That is one argument against the Dom build is that you. I mean, I guess
you can't Rosh as early.
I guess you probably still can Rosh with that. Both of the
Yeah, you
probably let
still
you
can,
you
still
Rosh, but the Ags Rosh is like 13, 14 minutes.
Yes.
If you have a good game, you could solo it.
Yeah.
That's hard to beat.
Well, look, I don't want to put words in your mouths, but you're all going for Liquid here. You think it's going to be that 2-0? No one's thinking otherwise? Yeah, I didn't think so. My analysts, they're going for Liquid here, but let's hear from BB Team's coach. Maybe they can convince you guys at home on what exactly they would try to draft for themselves.
Thank you very much. Now, yes, indeed, I'm here with Bulk. And firstly, I just want to know, how confident are you with this draft in game number 2?
Насколько ты сейчас уверен в вашем драфте?
Уверен, конечно же, иначе бы мы не взяли этих героев.
They're pretty confident, otherwise they won't pick these heroes.
That makes a lot of sense. What did you think about the Medusa in last game? What do you think about that hero?
Я думаю, что герой хороший, мы даже сами с ним играли, мы не ожидали, что они его возьмут, но просто у них в целом получился удачный драфт, и Медуза просто фронтлейнила, то есть пошла вперед.
So he says it was like interesting to play against that hero, and that Medusa is a tanky hero, and that they did not expect to play against it, but they already played with it before, so it was interesting.
All right. And how do you feel like you answered the early Mirana, which Liquid showed in this draft?
Как отвечаешь на Мирана?
Мы знали, что он может взять Мирану, поэтому были готовы к этому.
They were ready for Mirana, so
All
no
right.
problem.
Answered. Perfect. All right. Bulk, thank you very much. Good luck in your game. And back to the casters for this game, who are going to have Cap and SVG.
A lot of confidence. I don't believe it. They're currently 0-5 in their last bit of games. I feel like you're lacking in confidence at this point, surely, right?
You're starting to question some things. I think
Yeah.
that's fair enough. This is also, potentially your last game before you're thrust into that lower bracket, and then you're in a whole different world of stress in a different situation. You're going to be 0-6 at that point. You're kind of just, what are we even doing in terms of strategies or heroes? This is a big game for a BB team. For Liquid, perhaps just another day of the week. Another series versus BB that they feel very confident in. They feel like they have the tempo advantage. Another lineup that is going to push you very hard between that 20 to 30 minute mark.
And it's going to outscale you, right?
Yeah, I mean, think so.
They went Red Dragon, Dragon Knight. They've got a Beastmaster. They've got some supports that scale up. The Mirana is pretty scary going into the late game with some of the talents you rock. And it looks like we're going to have a first blood on our hands. Saika is going to try and defend himself. The Unstable Concoction on 2. Manages to maneuver around the brambles, so he doesn't actually die. No first blood just yet.
Well, technically a better start than last game.
True.
This is another game where, you kind of have to expect BB team to want to do well on the lanes, at least build a lead, because I agree, Liquid's push, very scary with Trine to back it up. The late game, incredibly scary with Mirana Beast providing, Solar Flare plus Inner Beast with a Dragon Knight to frontline, Trine to sustain everything, and a Willow to give you some extra teamfight buff. I just don't think you're not winning Ultra late here if you're BB team. I just do not see it in the cards, and if you start to get pushed down, your ability to combat that push is okay. Depends on where the Bat Rider and the Kunkka's farm is to take that team fight head on. Ideally, your way to win this game is to get a very fat Alchemist and push yourself. Like, you want to go into Liquid here with a farmed Alch, with a farmed Chen, who just gives you overwhelming team fight sustain, and Liquid don't have the damage to contest you. So you really need to play a strong first 15, 20 minutes here to get Nightfall online and have a very good Alch game.
Now, that being said, they do have the heroes for that, right? They showed it in game 1 that they could win the laning phase, and in this game 2, they've got, first of all, Alchemist, traditionally thought of as kind of a slower hero, but this hero is hell to lane against. Now that you don't have this Greevil's Greed being leveled up, people actually maxing out Concoction. It is actually very tough to play against this hero, and you've got a mid Nature's Prophet, probably one of the fastest mids in this tournament, and they don't even need him to be able to find the first blood, as Saika is going to take a lot of damage on his way out, but he does manage to get the extra gold. The axes are not going to be enough to bring him down, and he'll send a little return present to 33 for that damage.
Big gold boost for Saika here, exactly what he's looking for in this laning phase, and extra experience for the Chen. Very valuable in this game. You want Toronto Tokyo getting to that 4 to 6 territory as fast as possible so he can start to get his own farm up, build into the early sustain mech soul or whatever he wants, and get that push going. The early farm for both these BB team supports is going to be pretty important here. I think Liquid doesn't need it as much. They just kind of want to get everybody online a little bit. So they're all lined up with this Beastmaster Ags, throw some tree and sustain in there. But the levels, I think the early items for this support duo isn't as vital. The big question mark for me in this game, and the player hero I'm looking to determine a lot of what we've talked about, has got to be this GPK Furion. Like, this is a hero that is very volatile. It's not been as successful in this tournament as I think it's been in pubs recently. For sure. But this is an explosive hero. You cannot doubt how well this hero can take the early game over if he gets a fast 6 and just starts spamming ults into the side lanes. That, to me, is his strength. So, if you're BB team, you need to get this Furion online.
Is this going to be enough? Shadow Realm plus Axes? It is enough. Okay. Boxy will get that last hit. So, the laning phase goes 1-1.
Just not able to recover the extra regen on this Alchemist from the earlier trades. A huge wave going into this Chen. So, Toronto Tokyo going to get some extra farm, but Saika not too happy about where he is on the CS chart. Half the CS is Beastmaster. 33 just dominating the early laning mechanics here despite that first blood gold injection.
That being said, BB team is doing very well in their off lane. This Bat Rider Kunkka lane, that sounds really annoying to play against because Kunkka off lane is all the rage right now. There are multiple times we were watching the group stage and all 3 streams had an off lane Kunkka in them, all at the same time. This is a hero that's being played a lot. I played it quite a bit leading up to this tournament. It feels great.
That must mean it's terrible.
No. I was winning with it. That's how you know. I was able to overcome it. Exactly. I have to say, I feel like this hero feels quite good despite the Aghanim's change. The Aghanim's is clearly worse than...
Yeah, that
Storm was just straight up broken, but it still feels good.
I'm not convinced of this new Ags, honestly. I see it being built a lot, but I feel like more often than not in the teamfight, I see the double ship come out and then it hits like nobody. You're just like, well, sure. There's 4,000 gold down the drain. You fire some cool cannons, and I mean, you look cool, but that's about it. I'm not convinced by his new Ags. That's the one component of this hero I'm still looking to see the impact from.
And that's the funny part is like now it's not the Ags that's broken. It's you don't even need an item for the broken component of this hero because it's the built-in rum passive that he has that I think is the broken part of this hero. And I agree. I'm not even sure if you necessarily need the Ags. I think he's a great aura buyer because you just can't kill this guy before he can get off some of his items. Yeah. That rum delay is just, it's painful.
He's also honestly decent catch versus a lot of the carry pool. He lanes pretty well versus a lot of these ranged carries. He's one
Wind
of the
Ranger, Mirana.
And then this X is really annoying for the mobile ranged carries, the Mirana, Wind Ranger, Lina type heroes. So unsurprised to see him back in the meta a bit. We'll see how he paces verse 33, who once again is just, he is off to a blistering start on this Beastmaster. And the big concern if you're a BB team fan here is this Furion down at the bottom of the charts. GPK is just getting out-CS'd by this Dragon Knight on Nisha. He does not care about the tree and harass, and it is pushing the Furion levels down, which you want that early 6 to harass the side lane. So Liquid should be very happy with this start here. They are getting what they want out of this laning phase right now, which is a strong Beastmaster who's going to get a fast Ags, a Dragon Knight who's laning perfectly well versus Furion, and is going to be in a position where he gets 6 first, which means if that Furion leaves, you're pressuring his tower and ultra free farming. If the Furion doesn't leave, he's stuck in a lane that's not going well for him. You're just getting massively out-farmed.
I do feel like you're guaranteed to leave just because I think you're guaranteed to kill Mickey. Like once you hit level 6, X, Torrent, Nature's Wrath, plus a TP, I feel like there's no way a safe lane Mirana lives through that.
Don't get the leap off yet. You're gone. I think you're going to have to look for these side lanes. Nature's Wrath is up. GPK's lane phase, not been great, but he has the ult online. Really got to start cranking this out and getting some value. This is not a spell you want sitting off cooldown just idle in the early game.
Double mana burn. There goes Boxy's whole pool there. Still has a Lotus, still has some wand charges, so he can still play with Insania coming through the gate. Put the pressure on Saika. Bold play to make, though, with the Nature's Prophet ready to go with his ultimate and save, making the counter TP rotation here. He is just sticking on top of 33. He's not backing away. He knows he can't make a run for it. Throws some axes, turns around, throws a bit of damage, but 33 is still going to get burned out. And BB Team now look for a second one. A big burst of damage. That Unstable Concoction comes through. Takes the Treant down to half. It's a simple play for BB Team to be able to clean up some kills off of that bit of aggression from Liquid.
Extra 250 damage coming through off the Furion ult.
Yeah.
Helps him convert on that. I mean, that's the power of the ult in the early game. Very hard to skirmish into this hero. You just have to make your moments work here. GPK going to try and recover in this game. See how many of these side lane opportunities you can find. As Beastmaster goes down, was the most farmed hero on the map as well, and this gets Saika to his 6, so bit of breathing room for this Alchemist. He's going to try and get a fast Radiance.
Yeah, he could start playing off lane if he wants, and in some neutrals.
I mean, if I'm Liquid, though, I'm rotating straight back up here. Like, I'm not giving this Alch any breathing room. You have push galore. In fact, they're going to take the Dragon Knight up here.
Nisha spots him, doesn't manage to get the initiation right away, but now 33, he's going to close that gap. They've got the Primal Roar combined with the Dragon Tail. So many stuns. BB Team is still going to fight this one, though. The boat's coming in. Miro, he goes for Nisha, a hard hero to be able to kill, and it looks like the damage is being split up here from BB Team. They're not sure who they're targeting right now, and Miro right now is trying to protect. He's not going to be able to do anything. Dragon Tail into an arrow stun. Mickey comes in with the extra help, and Save is trying to get this kiting back. 33, he'll get it. Well played by Save, being able to back him off, and now pushes Nisha back as well. Looks like he'll even survive through this engagement. So he comes out the shining star of BB Team, but the rest of the engagement, quite dirty.
Now push Save to his 6. I mean, nice plays on the back end of this fight from the bat. Salvages something out of what is otherwise just a wasted team fight for BB Team. Once again, Liquid out-rotating them in this early game.
Mickey out of leap charges, so he is done. X-Torrent.
Nice.
And with Toronto Tokyo coming in,
that's a really
certainly
good
got the damage.
Extra experience for this Chen, getting some momentum back after a botched team fight top. You have to be ready for these Liquid rotations, particularly through the gate. Saika, he just wants some CS here, man.
Yeah.
He does not want to be in these fights.
He throws the concoction, says, leave me alone. Just let me clean up this creep wave, and then you can have it. I'm going to back off to the jungle.
I like how Liquid played this early game. They really prioritized making the first move and forcing this Furion to react to them, bringing him into disadvantageous, outnumbered positions. It's one of the ways you can abuse this hero, not let him dictate.
Try to go for Nisha. That early level 6, that Save got off of that team fight is put to use immediately. One upside you could definitely say about this when it comes to the early game for BB Team, they have not let this Dragon Knight abuse that mid tower too much.
And they've played a much stronger early game between these two games than they have versus Liquid in a lot of these series over the year.
Yep.
And I mean, you got to give Save credit here. Like, if there's one thing functioning for a BB Team right now in this series, it is him.
Yep.
He has dictated both of these early games to a large degree. And I will say, I honestly think Batrider might be his most impactful hero of this kind of event. Like,
I agree. Whenever he's playing Batrider, him and Miro just tear up the laning phase.
And this is a hero that can scale pretty hard. Way better than the Lion.
In EWC, right, it was the Batrider Brewmaster that they were running all the time that looked really good. GPK is going to be run down underneath this tower. TP rotations are coming in, though. Liquid surely are going to lose somebody off of this one, or maybe they're not. Boxy with his level 6 and with the Haste Rune quickly picks up the Will-O-Wisp and starts using the Bedlam to bring down Save. They get that. What a torrent into a boat on 3. Miro, though, caught in the overgrowth, is not able to immediately get the damage. Insania will find his TP canceled. They'll collect the lives of both supports for this, right?
He shot.
Insania, there's nowhere you can go.
It collects. I mean, it's another fight that isn't that bad for BB Team, but it's really bad for GPK.
Yeah.
If there's one thing Liquid are happy about, it's this Furion has basically had no impact in this early game, which to me is where this hero is supposed to be the scariest. It's the early Wraths of Nature, the early rotations, him getting a net worth advantage off being able to be in multiple lanes at once. I mean, he's bottom of the charts. The early Wraths didn't work out for him. He's died first in those 2 big team fights. Mickey is not having much of a better time, but I feel like that was not as an emphasized component here for Liquid strategy, right?
Yeah. Now, this Mirana Heroes, I feel like pretty chill. You fall behind the lanes, you're going to be able to farm up neutrals between the arrows and the Starstorm and the Arcane Boots build. You just kind of like keep trucking.
There's one big component between this game and last game, though. It is the BB team supports are going to be able to push waves a bit better.
Okay.
Like, Bat Chen are going to be able to farm a lot more, scale a lot more, bring a lot more to the table. We're already seeing them build a little bit of an advantage here. This is a very valuable game for Liquid, actually. Getting the Chen and all of his creeps here. A lot of gold, a lot of momentum shut down.
But save. He gets the lasso, pulls him into Miro. With the X-Torrent combination, it'll bring Nisha low, but a Terrorize save. Is that going to be enough? Doesn't hit the Alchemist. And with GPK behind him, they'll deliver the damage to get not one core, but maybe two. Unstable Concoction, it goes off. 33 is already a pretty distant target to go for here. They're going to have to go in a bit deep. They do manage to get the Torrent on two of them, stopping the TP wave from Boxy. What a play from Miro.
He's been destroying this early game. I mean, this offlane for BB team has just salvaged so many of these fights. It's ridiculous. 2-0 and 7 start for the Kunkka. Blade Mail already up. Save is cruising to his Blink Dagger. And they are firing on all cylinders. 4-1 and 6 start for this Bat Rider.
And they get a little incursion into the triangle, knowing that Liquid is one of the teams that love stacking so much. They check for that, find a little double hard cam stack, though caught by an Insania Treant Protector. Hits him with the Overgrowth. It's not good enough to get the kill on save. He still tries, but Nature's Grasp not going to do any damage here. And that bit of aggression, they don't lose anybody. It gives the Alchemist space. He completes his Radiance at 13 minutes.
Ooh, Nisha barely missing that kill as well. That got them the top tower. I'm talking about space. That's a tier 1. Chen helps push it in. These supports for a BB team, they did not lose confidence after this game 1. Went back to something that's a bit more sturdy for them. They have, as Book said, all the confidence in the world in these picks. It's showing right now in this early game. Yeah, I thought this was going to end up a lot worse for them based on how those early rotations and fights were going, but this is not a bad position at all. And again, the biggest factor is if you can push into Liquid, their lineup's a lot weaker. And right now, Liquid, they're the ones getting pushed into. They're losing some tier 1s, potentially losing control of this ancient area. An aggressive smoke play, don't have to blink for the bat, but they would love to find 33 on these ancient camps.
And this offlane Beastmaster is going to be a very different beast.
14-minute
Wisdom Rune. Game 2, trying to play for the Wisdom Rune steal. Boxy protects it. And maybe protects his own life in the process. Shadow Realming away. It's a stun on Miro. He doesn't want to get too aggressive, so they will find no opportunity here to take away.
I think this Liquid smoke is still good, though. Like, you looking at 33 right now, he's not happy with the situation. He's watching both of his ancient spawns on this 14 minutes get stolen here.
Yeah.
The Alch gets a lot of room to play with. The counter exchange here for Liquid is you're farming up this Mirana, but like, yeah, I mean, it's a Mirana, right? There's only so much you can farm with this hero in the early game. You just don't have these early tier 1s to play around, and it's showing here for Liquid. GPK is recovering very fast, and it's not easy to make moves into this Blade Mail Kunkka. As you said, he's very tanky, and Liquid kind of lacked the early game damage a little bit. That's the one weakness of this lineup.
Yeah, and that damage isn't going to be coming from the Beastmaster with his build. He's going pipe. What do you make of that?
I think 33 just doesn't feel like he's gonna be able to have the farm for an Ags and then translate it into an early Roche based on how much space they've lost. Like, you're looking at deep wards coming out in this top lane for BB team right now. The Kunkka is gonna be able to match the Beast in terms of team fight. It's not an easy 5-on-5 for them anymore to just, okay, we got Ags, let's go Roche, and we're confident we can take that.
Sure. But the pipe is also, it's not going to help you scale up either, right? No. Like, if you build this pipe, surely you've got to get something out of it right now.
It's also just not, like, it's a good pipe game. You're counteracting Radiance damage, but it's also not the most amazing pipe game.
Sure.
It's solid here for sure, but like you said, you kind of want to fight with it right now. This is where it's a big problem for a BB team. Where are you going to get that fight? The lanes are an issue right now for Liquid. And this is the advantage of, like, Chen Bat versus IO line, right? The Furion as well, he's going to just be pushing in all the 3 waves with ults, with Treants. These supports can easily shove in a wave and then go with the jungle. You're looking at the map right now, very constricted for Liquid, and deep wards on the lanes are scouting everything here for BB team.
A lot of items are coming together. They have the pipe complete. They have the Gleipnir done for the Mirana. All that's left is Nisha's BKB, but they may not need it. Found an opening on Amiro. He got off his blade mail first, though, so instead they turn to save. But look at Saika coming in from the side. Unstable concoction on it, too, with his Radiance. He is burning out the Beastmaster. Couldn't stop him before the Primal Roar, and now gets hit with the Overgrowth, but that's okay. They don't have the damage to threaten this Alchemist, especially with Mickey choosing a different target. He finished up the Kunkka. He got the Bat Rider. He comes in and gets a nice double kill. But BB Team, they are an equalizing force, and ultimately that net worth doesn't go anywhere. Stays at a 6K lead for BB Team.
Yeah, honestly, Mickey, he got the most out of that. And even actually an advantageous gold exchange for Liquid when all's said and done.
Oh yeah, just a bit.
So they lose 2 cores, but they recover a bit of this game for the Mirana. Now suddenly Mickey, he's top 2 net worth. Yeah, he got a lot off of that fight, and this damage is going to hurt. It takes a lot to commit onto this Kunkka, but once he's down, that team fight's kind of open for the Mirana. There's not a lot that is going to stand there and fight him back in this game unless your Furion and Alk are just way ahead of him on the net worth. Even then, I think Mickey is the ultimate beast in this game. Like, Solar Flare Mirana with all the buffs and sustain behind him in this game is going to be scary to fight into the longer and longer this game goes. So I like this objective acceleration here for BB Team. This is what you want your Alk Chen game to look like. Skelly boys are going to
look at part. The rallied skeleton army going to work with the help of the acid spray. Got a decent amount of physical damage to get this done.
I think there's an argument you give it to GPK here. I don't think Nightfall ever will, but
you know. Sure enough, Saika, aka Nightfall, does take the Aegis for.
I mean, I think this is fine too. It's just, you know, like in theory, is Alk the first one in the fight or dying in all these exchanges? I think on paper he shouldn't.
Yeah, with especially with the boat buff, combining Chemical Rage's natural regen with the boat buff, just making you tanky enough that you don't die immediately. That's a pretty potent combination. Survivability. Boxy has his TP canceled by a Gleipnir. He'll try and make it as hard as possible for BB Team, but he will eventually die.
Yeah, it feels like the 3, 4, and 5 for BB Team here have just done so much on the map. Continuing to build just team fight utility for all 3 of these heroes. Gonna try and kite out Liquid, extra 4 stabs. Vlad's are already done for the Chen. Solar Crest now done for the Chen. Toronto Tokyo found a lot of farm. And you have an Aegis on this Alk to play with. So the upside of putting it on this Alk is you can, again, push into Liquid. Which anytime I think you get to that point with this BB Team lineup, you're happy. Liquid are not like gonna get pushed in this game, and what a find from GPK. Just saw him farm in the bottom lane, catches him again.
Yep, they just sweep down. There's no way you could TP out faster than GPK can pull the trigger on that Gleipnir. They search for more. Miro's looking for the Train Protector, who does already have his shard, so not the easiest pickoff. Liquid, they get their BKB done for Nisha's Dragonite, and they are going to be scaling up. But look at this.
This is nasty, right? I was about to say, this is a 20-minute early high ground from BB Team. Like, you just go here with this Alk Aegis and say, what are you going to do about it, Liquid? Your out spam is pretty bad. We have the sustain with the Chen. We beat you to it. This is not where Treant excels.
Who is this BB Team? Looking more like Gaming Gladiators right now.
Saves hands off the keyboard. It's like, I'm sitting here till somebody shows, and then I am dragging you straight into hell.
Now, they are not showing inside of the base, except for 33. 33 is a great target to be able to start on Lasso, but Liquid's coming in from behind. Can they get here in time to be able to save 33? They do jump onto the Chen with the Terrorize coming out, hitting GPK as well. They'll take 2 for 1 off of this one, and Mickey is going to work with some of his damage, but now he's being targeted. He gets rolled back into some Nature's Grass, and it's not going to be enough. They manage to bring him down. Primal Roar goes out onto the Bat Rider now. With Miro being low, Nisha is trying to hunt him down, not in dragon form though, and Saika is still the king of this team fight. The Alchemist with the Radiance and the extra life is not going to be easy to bring down Nisha, realizing that he is in no man's land with so many heroes of BB Team sitting between him and his face, trying to TP away. The X stops him, the Unstable Concoction stops him, and he goes down. BB Team will resume their high ground push at 20 minutes with an Aegis still intact for Saika, and now they've got Insania potentially. Nope, slips into the trees. He's okay, but the lane of Barracks will not be.
Is this the slowest team at the tournament, Austin?
It doesn't look like it.
Are we watching the same squad that apparently is just AFK farms until they have to BKB TP out? Because that is not how they are playing this game right now. Aggressive buyback from the Furion, taking advantage of that instant teleport. giving BB Team some extra numbers. That was a very solid flank from Liquid. Gave him hope in that exchange, but ultimately, just not enough damage to crunch through all of the lives, all of the sustain here. And maybe, honestly, MVP of that fight, sure, you'll give it to Miro Kunkka kiting them out. You'll give it to the Alchemist, but it is the Skelly boys here. Toronto Tokyo had, I think, 6 or 7 skeletons giving rally buff to everybody in that exchange. He's got triple Dark Troll Summoner here. Nobody's killing these things. It's like a plus Sacred Relic on everybody. This Alk is hitting with double damage. Somebody deal with the summons here. The buffs, they're coming for you. They are pushing. That is the face of your demise.
Oh boy, BB Team, what a turn!
They are feeling this game right now, and they know how to play it. Big smoke from Liquid, trying to find a flank angle here. They had the right idea in that fight. Take the Chen out first, shut down the Kunkka if you can burst him. They really want to see the supports.
Oh, they
want to jump.
Cannot go through this. Kunkka Miro is waving at him. He knows this initiation is coming. Will it still work for him, though? Oh, an unstable concoction. Locks onto the two of them with the Torrent Bow coming in. Oh, Liquid, this is not looking good. Nisha does manage to get off his BKB, so while 33 dies, Nisha's still able to fight this out, but he's not doing much damage. The Mirana is, though, but the Mirana doesn't have much HP to work, that he couldn't finish off GPK. Yeah, maybe you can, Boxy, but this fight's done. This game might be done as they call it. 22 minutes. BB Team, who are these guys? Go 0-5, criticized for years when it comes to their pace of the game and how slow they play. And all of a sudden, they just wake up in the middle of this series against Liquid and just look like an entirely different team.
I don't even understand where that game came from. I don't know if Liquid understands where that game came from, but it came from somewhere. That is a 23-minute victory here with an out push lineup off an early game that was not even that convincing. I feel like GPK got shut down. Liquid were pretty happy with their rotations. This Beastmaster was near the top of the net worth. And that Chen Batrider just turned it on, man. A support duo performance from BB Team that just reeked of confidence.
I mean, that's one way to be able to stave off lower bracket. What a game from BB Team. What do you guys make of that performance?
It reeked of confidence, as Avery put there. But no, seriously, this was phenomenal. We weren't really sure how this last pick, Alk, was going to pan out for them. Was it too slow? Was it going to fit the momentum and hit the pace that was going to be able to overcome Liquid? I mean, we just saw it. The answer was yes, a 23-minute win for them. Was this Liquid being unprepared for how fast they were, or BB Team actually bringing something new to the table with heroes we've seen them play multiple times before, Jenkins?
Save MVP of the series so far. First game, he was keeping them in. He was one of the reasons why they were winning the fights with his focus on 33 and just good calls in the fights altogether. And in that game, we saw him salvage the lanes with the rotation top, and then he puts a ward in the Ancients. And I'm just looking at this, I'm like, this is one of the most efficient rotations I've ever seen. And Save just does these things casually. Like, this guy is so good. And the Alk looks great on Nightfall. It actually makes a lot of sense to pick a hero that is safe and farms and pretty much, plays like the Terrorblades of the world. But then you get all of your items so quickly that you can up the pace. Like, Alk is a farming pace hero. It's just that he hits the Terrorblade like 3-item timing faster than like a Terrorblade does. But then once Terrorblade has 3 items, he's way stronger than an Alk, right?
Yeah, and not to mention like the Kunkka kind of like, I feel like he had a couple of really important plays. He rotated to the mid and the top. He got a really crucial at 2-man. A torrent, cancel TPs, get them kills. Those type of moves kind of like allowed BBT to get to their timings on the Elk a lot faster. And on Liquid's side, I felt like with the Fire Dragon plus the Mirana carry, everything kind of, needed more time. Because early game, they were fine. Okay, they could have held the early game with the Beastmaster, the Churn, but it then comes to the point where when the Elk hits his timing, your DK and Mirana, they both needed more time to farm, so they couldn't fight into the Chen out.
Yeah, that's what we said before, is when you pick up Mirana, there is that flex between it being, like a pos 1, a carry, or potentially one of the supports, a 4 or 5, whoever's more comfortable playing it. But Mirana as a carry does need significantly more to be able to do what we feel maybe a Wind Ranger or a Lina might be able to do. So it actually felt like a bit of an inverse here. Whilst Liquid normally love to have that higher paced game, they really drafted for the opposite of that. And the Beastmaster not really being able to salvage it the same way that they were able to salvage the bad lanes in game number 1 for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think in general, this really looked like kind of like a Liquid draft on BB team's side. And Liquid, they're still doing their thing, but there's a heavy emphasis on this Beastmaster having a good game. And he was having a really good game, but the rotation from Save, he came over there. They ended up having some engagement. They got a kill on the Beastmaster. He even survived on the bat and he ran out. He TP'd out there. But his rotations really made this game. Also want to talk a little about Miro on the Kunkka. Felt like his torrents and boats were just on point this game. Like, he had really good spell casting, and I think if you just look at the heroes in general that they had, like this Kunkka, he has the rum buff that makes you very hard to kill. He also bought a pipe with that, and on top of that you have Toronto Tokyo, who's playing Chen. He's keeping people alive and sustainable. Alk naturally has a lot of regen as well. It just got to a point where you win 1 or 2 fights and you get all these aura items stacking up, and you can end the game in 20 minutes with the heroes that they had. NP's great at pushing as well. They just had a really heavy tempo lineup. They all bought into it as well, bought the items to go 5-man, and that's why this game just ended in 20 minutes. They all itemized for it, and they just won 1 or 2 fights, and they just ran away with it.
Yeah, in retrospect, Alk plus NP seems like a really nice duo if you can hit your timing, because Alk is this, like, he's going to get more items than your carry faster than your carry. That's how he works. So you are likely to, if the game is going decent, hit a timing where you can hit towers and you can have this hero sitting up there with like a Chen aura and tanking the tower. And then the Nature's Treant is just demolishing buildings. It's like Alk himself doesn't push that fast. It's okay. Yeah. But he can tank towers really well. And that's all you want as a Nature's Prophet player, is like a guy to just stand there and get hit by the tower. So your Treant can be like 3 catapults worth of damage on the tower.
Yeah, and you think about how all of this happened. I felt like it's so smart from BBT when they 18 picked the Chen. I felt like that was like, after they saw the Mirana being settled into a carry position, it was Treant, Mirana, Beastmaster, and then they picked Dark Widow last. So after they saw the Dark Widow, they realized, oh, this Mirana actually doesn't have any possibility of moving to a support. So he can't come to my lane to shoot my creeps with the arrow. So they decided that, okay, with the Chen, we can actually outrun and overwhelm them. And he decided that that was a good time to pick the Chen. Because usually on the 18 pick, that's the strongest pick you have on the first phase side. And using it on a support means that you are really, really confident and you can win the game with that pick.
I do want to mention one more thing.
Is it about Treant Protector?
It's about Nightfall, actually.
Okay.
Well, I don't actually want to hear it then.
Okay. He didn't go Blink Dagger on Alchemist. Like, usually it's Radiance.
Is this what you ask? Computer, pull up.
Computer,
Nightfall.
pull up. Go ahead and pull up Psycho on.
Why do you call him Psycho?
Because otherwise the computer doesn't know the system has an input as
Psycho.
It's an A at the end.
But I like the fact that they've got all these auras. They understand. We saw this in the earlier game with the Mars. XXS did not go for a Blink Dagger on Mars. He went for like Pipe Vlad's. Similar concept here, where they don't need to worry about initiation. If you're running at enemy towers and you're confident that you can just plow those down, then all of a sudden
I would rephrase that
to
so like he relied on Save's initiation, where he didn't need it, because Save did go Blink on Bat, right?
That's true. You've got somebody to
he went Blink Force on Bat Rider.
Yeah. I think if you have a position for where he's not so mobile, he can't initiate, and he's buying the aura item, then you probably need to get a dagger.
I would still say if we were looking like, I don't know, let's say like 6 months ago, at an out game with like a lion or a bat, the Alk would still go for a blink to just double initiate. Like the Alk can jump the backlines, or the Alk can jump with the Bat Rider. But like, because we're in an aura patch and they have the Nature's Prophet and the Treant to push the towers, he's like, what do I need a blink for? Like, I'd rather just be tankier. Like, blink doesn't give you any stats.
I'm not too familiar with Alk's facets. If anyone would like to fill me in on the options and which one you went with.
He gets 250 gold at level 1.
Seed money.
Yeah.
Seed money. The other one, people haven't found a way to make it work. It's just when you're in
your ulti,
chemical
your nukes, your spells are less cooldown. The Dispel and the Unstable Concoction.
Yeah, just the 2 nukes have lower cooldown.
And Berserk Potion.
We said 2.
Yeah, I said
Yep.
One of the 2. That is correct.
Yeah,
He just really wanted to be in on the conversation.
He's an alchemist, so he makes potions.
Yeah, the 2 potions.
Really? Is that how that works?
I think
Yeah, but it's
30%
really bad. It's actually it's not bad. People are doing it off lane. They're doing it off.
Yeah, just the problem is with Alk right now, it's like 250 gold in the laning stage is just too good to pass up. So,
Yeah, start with a bracer. It's pretty cool.
yeah. Even though he started with 250 gold, he still had trouble staying in that lane. So imagine not having that 250 gold.
Yeah.
It can be rough. So
Yeah.
everyone gets the 250 gold.
That is pretty valid. We didn't see too much of a change in the bans for BB Team when they came into game number 2. Those game number 1, they were still really solid in their strategies. They ended up being able to just pick up that Nature's Prophet for themselves instead. Are we still looking towards what's going to be highly contested in that first phase between the two? And could Liquid potentially be the more reactionary team here?
They might have to think about the MP though. I think the MP is like maybe even a better Monkey King, like in a way. They both kind of function the same way. You sit in the middle and then you have kind of global presence, and you do some damage with your for MP's ulti. And I just feel like MP kind of does more in the team fight, does more damage. Whereas Monkey King kind of you need to rely on hitting your BKB timing. MP is a lot stronger early, so the pace of the game is a lot faster.
I was just looking at the common heroes that Beastmaster 6 times. There was a part of me, 33 is absolutely known for his Beastmaster along with the Doom as well. But something that coming into this one, Jenkins, you really highlighted how BB Team, they love to make a summons or a Zoo meta try and work for them, even when it's not popular, even when it's not doing well. And so now I'm wondering, are they trying to move this Beastmaster up in pick to try and take it away from BB Team? Would BB Team even be looking towards that?
It could. This is a strange matchup because these are the two teams that will always try to make summons work. You have 33 and you have Miro, like the exact same heroes that you can list for 33 that he's the cheese expert on, like the Visages, the Beastmasters, the Lycans. Those are literally Miro's cheese heroes as well. So there was a world where I was thinking maybe even in this series we would see like none of them because they're just confident.
Banned out.
Yeah, banned out, or like Miro is very confident, like let him have Beast. Like I know how to deal with this. Then 33 is thinking the exact same thing, so they get ignored. But the thing is, like the Aghanim Scepter Beastmaster, which we saw in the first game, and 33 was going to eventually build into the Ags after the pipe, I imagine. At some point he was hoping to do that, but then they got crushed before he could do that. It's like kind of a different sort of play style than the summons Beastmaster. It's more of like a spellcaster.
Yeah, Miro is actually so good though, I think about it, because he plays all those Zoo heroes really well. But we saw in the last game, he's also like Grandmaster on like Timbersaw.
Yeah.
His Kunkka is really good, which these are like the anti-Zoo heroes. So he clearly has played a lot of Zoo and lost to a lot of like Kunkkas and Timbersaws. Like, if people pick Zoo against me, I'm going to counter you with like the heroes that counter the Zoo. He seems like he really has figured out where, I feel like 33, he doesn't really play like the Timbers of the world. Maybe he can play the Kunkkas and stuff like that, but Miro's hero pool seems to be a bit larger in this matchup.
Yeah, they also have to kind of figure out the mid plus carry, how are they going to balance things out? Like if they're really feeling the carry Mirana again, they have to like maybe get a mid hero that doesn't really need to farm as much like a Fire Dragon, But overall, I feel like carry Mirana is not something that I'm very attracted to right now. I probably prefer them if they pick Mirana, put it on Boxy.
Yeah, I think looking back with the Nature's Prophet, how early it was picked up, it was the first pick for BB Team. They could have picked Nisha's hero there for themselves. They either knew it was going to be matched up against the Nature's Prophet, or if that got moved to carry, Nisha's been able to bounce back from bad matchups before. He's very comfortable in being able to pick that blind matchup, but they just said, okay, we're going to just show where this Mirana is going. We're not going to leave any of that flex open. And our last pick isn't really going to have that same impact. Because it was a Dragon Knight last pick.
I think that's the thing that I would question in the draft. I had that like gut read watching the pick where I just thought, okay, there's some timing that I'm not seeing that Blitz is seeing in this game, because oftentimes you will literally see him pick into one-to-one counters because there's some timing that he thinks is very important. So I will always give him credit there. But I do feel like the Primal would have been a hero that answers the Nature's Prophet better, or just as good as a DK, but then offers more in terms of you're not picking a hero that's a carry mid. And
economically, he's cheaper.
Yeah, exactly. He's cheaper. Or just go for the puck, which I think probably they were eyeing if it wasn't for knowing that this is like an NP mid. I'm not sure how Puck versus NP is, but they pretty much had the same draft in the first game and they picked the Puck. Maybe Puck is less good against Alk. Like, I was really thinking that they would just say, you know, you pick this Alk, that's fine. You're going to try to cheese us with this last pick. We're going to play our style. We're going to win the game. But instead, they really tried to counter the Alk. They tried to counter pick. So I think the last pick is something they need to change this if they were to repeat that second game.
Yeah, it's not going to be repeated. I mean, you guys will correct me here, but Liquid are going to be the first pick. And I have a feeling it's probably just going to be Treant Protector again. That's something that they were comfortable opening when they had first pick. They were comfortable picking it up as well when they had second pick. So they're really not altering that first pick for themselves. But the first phase bans might be where a small change comes from. That one I'm still not overly convinced with.
I mean, you might need to think about this Treant Protector, because, like, it is good in a lot of ways, but I've not been super impressed with its laning stage so far. Like, game 1, it got completely dumpstered. Game 2, it looked okay, but not very good. I mean, Insania ended that game with brown boots, a circlet, and a windlace. You know, that was his inventory.
Yeah, that's my build too.
They had absolutely nothing after 22 minutes of gameplay. So, like, the laning stage needs to be addressed here for this Treant Protector. And we can even argue, let's say, game number 1. If BB team played it flawlessly, they probably should have won that game, right? They really got away at the laning stage, were really far ahead. It really came down to Liquid just having good team fight execution that clawed them back into that one. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure about the Treant Protector.
I was going to say Ench is let through because they banned the Conquer here that BB team had for themselves in game 2. And it was a toss-up between, do they ban the Naga, pick the Ench? Do they ban the Ench and pick the Naga? And they place it, or at least want it, a little bit more for the Ench. Maybe that's also to deter any summons that Mira might want in the offlane.
I mean, as Purge showed us this morning, the Nyx Assassin can be a good answer
Primal.
to the Ench.
Step on her.
Yeah. Both those heroes could be really good, but I don't think you'd pick Primal. I mean, you could pick Primal right now, but...
Okay, so they're going for Bat against the Ench.
I mean, that's kind of... That hero's like Primal, right, in a way. It's the same thing as a hero that just gets on top of the Ench. Doesn't really rely on the right click at all to kill her, so we can go through them.
Yeah, but the thing is, you kind of have a different way of playing the hero now. You're going for like Napalm and Flame Break. Like, you don't really get Firefly so early.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, but it's like not until later so you get untouchable anyway, like level 6. So
it's more about like you can deal with her later, and you don't really need to commit too many heroes of killing off Enchantress. Because the problem with dealing with Ench is like she kind of forces you to bring a lot of heroes to kill her.
True.
Or she buys enough time that the rest of your team is rotating to help you as an Ench.
Yeah, I think that this is one of those matchups that's like whichever hero has the item advantage looks better. Like, Batrider can kill an Ench with levels and items. This is very hard to... Whose line is that?
Okay, that is one of the Russian talents lines.
He did a Joker laugh. Oh,
yes, if you guys jump in and look at all the talent and go over to the Russian tab, he's like, you will spot him. He literally, his picture is the Joker.
I don't think they can hear that on stream, though.
5 seconds
Yeah, but Jenkins keeps bringing it up.
Can they not hear that on stream?
I have no idea.
I'm certain they can.
They can.
Yeah, no, okay.
No, there was one DPC where I brought it up and everyone's like, they cannot hear it on stream. Like,
I see.
you're just talking about sounds. But they can this time.
Okay.
They saw the voices on in my head.
Anyway, I don't actually mind Ench against Bat that much if it's not like a core Bat, because you'll have 3 bracers. You pop your heal, you max the heal, you'll heal through a lot of the Firefly damage. Like, it takes a while to build up enough damage on the Ench where you get to the point where like the Batrider has just wasted his time on a position 5. But it does depend on items. If the Bat is ahead, then Ench is a free kill.
Sometimes I get like lost in like the rabbit hole of like, why did they pick this to counter this hero? But in reality, a lot of these teams just pick heroes that they think are good, and they just try to make it work. You know, like this Batrider's just a good hero. They won with it. Maybe they're not even really caring about the Ench right now.
Guys, Liquid have let Omni through the second phase. In game 1 and 2, they banned it out. They've done a big change at the Alk, the Undying. We've seen Toronto Tokyo play the Undying before. It did lose, but they're taking it out. They know it's in their wheelhouse, and now I'm wondering, why are they banning that out? Why are they letting the Omni through?
Because they have a counter in mind.
Omni is probably not really that high up in their radar right now.
So I am so confused right now, because like this clearly shows me that there is no meta right now. Like, we came in here, all these heroes are really good, everything got banned. Our first phase is like changing drastically. Teams are like letting heroes through that most people said were just like too OP. And I think as this tournament like progresses and we get past the road to the international into the playoffs, I think we're gonna have like a completely different meta set, and we're still trying to figure out what the meta
10
truly is right
seconds
now.
remaining.
Because like Omni was also ignored in the
5
last
seconds
series as well
remaining.
in one of the games.
Yeah, I feel like with Omni, with the nerf that he received the last week, it kind of made his lane a lot worse. And before, I feel like as a position 5, you could just pick Omni and pair with anything because you're so strong in level 1 and level 2. But right now, because you're significantly weaker at the level 1 and level 2, and you see players kind of, when you pick Omni, they want to pair it with like a carry that can make it work. You can use the heal like Weaver and Morphling. So that kind of limits your combinations. And I feel like if you're opening up a position 5 hero and you need a specific hero to make your lane work, then it's not a very good opening for the draft.
I love this draft from Liquid so far. I think the Weaver is an excellent pick. It's a hero that can be really easily left alone against a Batrider plus Timbersaw. You're never going to die because
10 seconds
he
remaining.
can't be slowed, and all Timber and Bat do is slow you, which means
5
that the
seconds
Enchantress can go through the portal and go for kills. And guess who is the best pairing for Enchantress to get kills with? It's the Tusk, because you can, although people are going for
You didn't
the...
let me guess.
Okay, go ahead.
Is it Tusk?
It is Tusk, actually. Yeah, these are like two of the best run under a tower and dive and go for kills supports together. Like, they can play super fast, and you can also do that to the Weaver lane. Like, you can run the Tusk to the Weaver Ench lane, you can run the Ench to the Tusk lane, and it is very strong.
I want a close up on Mickey's monitor because, like, you know how you can edit your hero list.
Oh, right, yep.
I feel like he has 6 heroes on there that all buy Gleipnir, and they just.
I'm just laughing. I'm just laughing because like there's a genuine like potential that is. Like that exists. He's like made like specific boxes for them, and he's like
It's just one
carries that
line.
don't build Glip.
No, there's just
carries
6
that
heroes.
do build Glip.
That's it. There's 6 heroes on the screen. They all buy Gleipnir. It's like Wind Ranger, Weaver. He even buys Gleipnir on TA, by the way. Lena, and then I'm missing one. And that's it. That's the
Mirana.
list. Which one do you have?
Gyro.
Mirana? Which one of these do you want to play this game? Let me see. Out of these, what is best? Oh, that one looks good.
That
They
would-
have low stuns.
That would
Pick
unironically
Weaver.
be a good way of like figuring out what is the good meta heroes. Like, you just make a list of Battle
10
Fury heroes, and when
seconds
Battle Fury
remaining.
is strong, those heroes will be the meta. Like the Trolls and the Ursas of the
Yeah.
world, and the
5
NPA,
seconds remaining.
Juggernaut.
I mean, items make the meta.
Yeah,
It's
they-
more so than the heroes.
Yep.
Almost every single patch. It just so happens to be the heroes are popular in the meta because the item is good on that hero. And that's Gleipnir for you. I don't think there will be a single game, quote me on this
I will.
entire TI,
Recording.
where there's not one Gleipnir in the game.
All right, someone clip it. Send it to me. Or Fear.
Yeah.
But how bad is Gleipnir on Troll? Like, can't you just build...
People have done it before. It
Yeah.
actually
But he's saying
was
just one in the game.
Yeah, on
at,
either
like,
side.
On either side. So just one hero has to build it. So he's kind of covered himself, I guess. Whatever.
I'm not saying every carry's going to buy it. There's going to be some alchemist or PA or something at least once, you know?
And the post fours will be picking it up. The whole
exactly.
planers.
Or the mid NP.
10
True.
seconds remaining.
Someone's still gonna look for it.
A DK Phoenix, good combination.
5
The heal
seconds
on the
remaining.
DK. And the Phoenix is always very good at dealing with the Tusk in the lane.
What about the other 3 heroes for BB team here? Are gonna enable the Dragon Knight a little bit better than when Liquid had it last game.
I think every hero on BB team can make fire.
That you don't even need to think that. That's just true.
They all make fire.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. And I'm waiting for the connection here.
That was the connection.
Oh.
How do you put fire?
No,
out?
fire melts ice. Tusk is GG.
Okay. okay.
But
Tusk
if
is
you
now a
have
known
enough ice,
factor.
it can put fire out. It's all about quantity.
You know, I'm asking
Ancient
a legit
Apparition would
question.
actually be good. not they have 2 supports already, but against the
10
healing,
seconds
there's a
remaining.
lot of healing on the side of BB actually.
Morphling would be really good for
5 seconds
BB
remaining.
team.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Anyone else want to elaborate on that?
No, I was thinking, is there some meme that he's making there? But I think it's just a.
No, I think he's
It's a good.
back on track and he's actually giving
It's a good
I
morph.
was actually memeing because they've got too much fire. They need.
Okay, so he
Oh
was.
my
memeing.
goodness.
I was thinking
water.
that.
No, it's actually it's a bit of both, but Morph is quite good for their roster here because like you can turn into Weaver, make the bugs. Sakuchi in the fights. It's very strong on that hero. Very good carry to carry matchup.
There's very little lockdown for a morph.
Indeed.
10 seconds remaining.
Just the Storm, who would have to pick up an Orchid then.
5
A
seconds
Death Prophet
remaining.
ban. A little bit curious about that one. I know people had mixed feelings coming into, you know.
It used to be a counter to tanky heroes.
Yeah, but it's more about where Death Prophet's sitting in this meta right now, or in this patch, I should say. Sorry, because like you were saying, the meta hasn't really been defined. But where is she sitting within this patch, and is she really strong?
Niche pick. It's definitely a niche pick. It's
Okay.
really good for Storm in the lane. You can bully Storm pretty hard. One of the few heroes I can just like not really care about the remnants and just run into. You bully out. You have silence later on in the game, which
10
helps a lot.
seconds
So
remaining.
definitely an option.
I think it's pretty underrated, and part of why
5
they,
seconds remaining.
I think that Liquid wanted it is because you have Ench and Tusk who are going to be diving towers. They're going to be really active. Storm plus the Weaver are two really active cores as well. So they do need a hero in the off lane that can do a little bit of tower damage, and then also a ranged hero with Tusk feels excellent. Let me see. What are the other options for some sort of like tower taking?
Less Shrek with the
offlane?
normal facet
No, that's
For which team?
for Liquid.
for Liquid.
For Liquid.
Some ranged hero to play with the Tusk. It doesn't have to be a ranged hero. I know people will.
I mean,
say,
ideally, it would be a range hero. Ideally.
but it's ideally a ranged hero.
I mean, it's 33.
Yeah, it's 33 though.
Okay, Visage is banned.
Visage is banned.
I mean, Beast is a pseudo range, but he's.
I should have said it. I was
Oh, okay,
thinking-
yeah, that's it. That's
Yeah,
the one.
That's the hero.
That's the one. In retrospect,
Morph got a lot worse.
it should have been obvious.
Maybe you just play the DK at this point.
As carry.
Yeah. I mean, because like
seconds remaining.
I'm thinking, what's in the play? I mean, Gyro got banned. Alchemist is banned.
5 seconds remaining.
I mean, Shadow Fiend could work, but I don't think he's gonna play Shadow Fiend. That does not seem like a Nightfall hero. The Medusa's banned too, right? Yeah, that's
Yep.
a hero that's pretty decent.
Oh god. Troll with he can go Gleipnir on Troll.
I mean,
does like
if they
troll.
want to go with the team, they need Lina.
I mean, Lina is unironically very good.
Lina is.
I know you're going with the 5 though.
I mean, without the memes, Lina is unironically very good here. Because, like, the new build on people are doing Lina is getting mana boots and maxing your nuke. But, yeah, they're going to just go
Now
DK
select your
carry.
heroes.
Pick the Queen of Pain for the mid lane. Used to be a bully to the Storm Spirit. I'm not entirely sure if that's still the case, but
I don't
You
think
don't,
it's
you don't
so
go
bad.
dagger anymore, so I don't think you can.
yeah.
I don't think it's that bad either with the remnant static slide facet where you can like make them move
Right.
location because then you're not walking up so much and getting daggered and getting harassed.
Yeah, I imagine they're just going to trade farm, right? I think the one merit Quap does have in this game is there's not a lot of lockdown here, at least from, like, Weaver doesn't have any. Tusk is pretty difficult, Inch is difficult. Enigma is very cooldown dependent, so you do have some lockdown for the Quap. Has a good laning stage. Quap is actually incredibly strong right now, but if you get to your item timing.
Yeah.
This hero's like hit or miss.
I
10
kind of
seconds
like the balance
remaining.
they have with the DK, Corp, and Timber. It's not too expensive like the last
5
game where
seconds
Liquid had
remaining.
DK and Mirana. I feel like this kind of has a balance. Everyone is hitting the timing. You create space for each other to farm. And yeah, I feel like it's a really, really good last pick there for them.
I'm not so sold on the Queen of Pain recently. I feel like it's kind of been figured out. I get the whole, Dagon like healing lifesteal Quap mid. I have seen it absolutely pop off, but I've also seen it like blink in and feed to
Hit or miss.
a black hole. I agree with the hit or miss sentiment. I'm kind of feeling like these days it's more miss than it is hit. Now that people are not like surprised by what she's doing with the spell lifesteal. You see her at like 40% HP and you're like, oh, we got her. She Dagons a creep and she's like full HP again. Like people realize you have to full to zero the Quap. Don't necessarily like chase her in the fights. It's not as much of a lane dominator as it used to be.
Well, look, it's game number 3 in this best of 3, all right? It's going the full distance. It's going to decide who sits in upper, who sits in lower. So I do want solid predictions in terms of who you think is going to take it. Just say the team.
I mean, BB team, they just have really powerful heals, a lot of damage.
Okay?
Fire.
Fire.
I'm going to go Liquid, 33 on Enigma, uncountered. That's a problem.
Uncounted. Alrighty, let's jump on into it, though. Let's get into a game number 3 with our casters, Cap and SBG.
Down in the hole, 0-5, staring into the abyss and BB Team pull off one hell of a game 2 against Team Liquid, a team that they have struggled against for so long, Avery. I'm a believer, man. I feel like they're talking about hit or miss for this BB Team lineup. I think this is a hit, man. I think that game 2, I haven't been excited about watching BB Team this much since, I don't know, probably like a year or 2 ago.
You've been converted, huh?
Yeah, man, that one game was hype.
They have convinced you, and they have gone back to the save Bat Rider, which absolutely dominated that game. I was looking at Liquid's bans. I felt like they were the ones who had to kind of pick the poison now, right? They banned the Kunkka. They were still afraid of the Shadow Demon, which has been a huge hero for save. And Toronto Tokyo will play it. They got rid of the Naga, which has just been a huge team fight threat. But, you know, they left things like that Bat Rider that sneaks through, the Timber from game 1. BB Team going back to something that worked in that game 2 and trying to bring some more team fight to it. This game could absolutely go either way. I think both teams have a lot of team fight. They have a lot of scale. They have some spooky cores if this game goes really late.
What started things off the right way would be perfect, but the smoke reveals Liquid's positioning.
And I think this Enigma is the real X factor. I mean, we are at TI. We have an Enigma in the game. We have Phoenix in the game. 2 huge team fight ults that both teams really want to play around. And they really want to get their offlaners off to a good start between the Timber and the Enigma to try and, you know, take early towers, take that game over. I think that was a huge difference in that game, too. Liquid lost some of their tier 1s very early in that game. Some of it was the Furion. You can't really prevent it. But some of it was they just got all pushed in, right? And they didn't react to it too well. They weren't able to bring the Mirana into some of those early fights. The hero just wasn't ready for it. Weaver is a carry that can be explosive here for Mikke. Like, this is a very strong skirmisher early, very strong laner. In theory, has a pretty free early game here, very limited stuns, right? Your one stun in this early game, outside of when you get that lasso line, is on your carry here for BB Team. So in theory, this Storm and Weaver could go absolutely ham. Looking at early rotations, early runes for Nisha, just start swarming these heroes, and you can do some serious damage.
Okay, but you're not talking about the one hero I want you to talk about. Anil started talking about it.
Where is Lone Druid, Austin? That is
talking about GPK's hero, the Queen of Pain. This is a hero that has been terrorizing pubs lately. There's pretty much only one build, which is Dagon. And we haven't seen that much of it at this tournament, considering how much it was picked up in these pubs. I feel like it was kind of like the Mid-Nature's Prophet that was super popular leading up to this tournament and just didn't get picked up quite as much as it was in pubs. Do you believe in this hero? Because it seemed like the panel was a little iffy on it.
I think my faith in Queen of Pain scaling is there for sure. I think this hero scales like an absolute beast. It's actually very difficult to beat this hero in late game fights. She just does way too much damage. Like, you can at some point get the dagger ags back online, right? And then she just perma-kites you. The Sonic Wave becomes an absolute menace with lower cooldown and how much that pure damage really shreds you through a lot of these like barriers and random crap. I do have faith in this hero, but it can be a little clunky if that early game doesn't go your way in terms of runes and more like the enemy mid snowballs. If the enemy mid snowballing more and you have that 1 or 2 early deaths on the Queen, it can feel a little clunky. If you get through that phase though, this hero's a nuisance. It's deceptively tanky as well. This is not the old Queen of Pain where like you just go on her and she gets stunned once and she just dies. She usually gets to between 1500, 2k HP, like pretty early on in that early mid game. And sometimes you go on this hero and she just doesn't die. And suddenly you're getting screamed down. There's a random rune, an extra heal.
She gets a kill. She gets the Dagon heal.
Yep.
Right.
So
it's like
we're gonna see Dagger leveled here for GPK. He's just trying to do better on the lane, secure himself a better early game versus the Storm. This is not just the Scream Blink build that you might see going into, you know, being tankier.
It's what most people are building, right? 044 has been the build for most of these co-ops and pubs.
This is an older style. It is a lot more about the lane domination, perhaps setting up a gank potential for Save to come into this mid and get the Storm pre-level 6. That would be a huge pickup if you can kind of wear through Nisha's region, get to that point. I just don't know if you can with the water runes on Storm. It's kind of difficult, but he is winning the early CS a little bit here.
Yep.
And it's a good sign for him. And lane's pretty even across the board, honestly. No one's really suffering or getting punished too hard here. Everybody finding a little bit of their farm. A little extra Eidolons for Nightfall. I'll be happy about that.
Yeah, that is the one thing. This Dragon Knight is doing okay in CS. That being said, a decent amount of it is Eidolons, which are worth less gold-wise than creeps. So
I do think Liquid have more roam potential. I think you kind of want to get a little bit more done with this Enchantress Tusk. Combine them in the early game. You could make the gate rotation on Insania and flank this DK bottom, particularly if the lane is up this far. Like, this DK is susceptible with level 2 plus Eidolons here. You have Tusk to give you some extra damage and lockdown chase potential. You really have to think about these supports and where they are in the early game if you're BB team. Liquid are going to try and make the most of them. They don't have the gank threat mid. Maybe that's the one part they're missing here with this Ench Tusk. But the side lane threat is absolutely there. And Weaver is another rotation potential, but also a hero you can rotate to. Threaten this bat in the skirmish, threaten this Timber. If you get a good bug on him, deep up the lane. Yeah. So side lane equilibrium, really important for both these teams. And you really have to think about the power runes here as well. 6, 8, 10 minutes. Which mid gets these power runes? Very vital.
Gonna dive, go for kill on 33. Eidolons are gonna take out, so there's no real threat whatsoever. He just has his facet, or his passive, to be able to help him out and get some extra Eidolons off of that. And does manage to get the kill on Toronto Tokyo as a result, but they take advantage of the fact that Boxy went on a bit of a walkabout there to secure the 4-minute water rune bottom, take that away from GPK. Helps Nisha, but costs 33 his life.
It's a very valuable water rune, because you're looking at the Dagger Queen here. And this is where that pressure starts to ramp for the Storm. So removing the regen from the Queen of Pain, really instrumental here. But there's no bottle refill. In fact, he's just got the TP out. Yeah. This is tough. And bottle refill comes in for GPK. That Toronto Tokyo death, honestly, was about as good as it gets for a death in the early game. Because, you know, the Enigma's not on the lane. The Tusk had to walk back. You're out of resources. Instead, you get a trip to base, a refill mid when that water rune got denied. I feel like that whole sequence, Toronto Tokyo not too sad about it. And solo XP for the Dragon Knight is going to be nice here. Deep ward from Save, going to try and scout the jungling Storm. This is really heads-up gameplay. You know Nisha cannot play for his 6 on the lane. The dagger spam has just been too influential. But they can't really connect here. Heads-up idea, but...
Yeah, I mean, if Nisha stays alive here, which it seems like he will, this may cost you some of the sideline presence that was seemingly going pretty well for BB Team. But they're going to stick around for the 6-minute power rune, so that should go the way of BB Team. We'll see if they can actually get it into the Quap's bottle.
This did cost him a lot of momentum on his bottom lane. 33 gets to farm a bunch of waves, build up those Eidolons. Now you have to rotate back. You're going to get your obs dewarded there as well.
And this is not like the Enigmas that we've been seeing lately are not like super passive and based around their ultimate entirely, right? We're seeing this Eidolon build where you go the drums and maybe you get the shard and you're actually a real threat with these Eidolons early on against pretty much anybody in the game.
Yeah, you don't think about Black Hole until way later. Yeah. Little shards for a courier. Nice little pickup. Save up here with an Invis rune. He actually snatches that first one out and looking for Mickey, but can't get the connection. Would have been a nice pickup. So a lot of the pressure here, at least in the early game, did go into the Storm Spirit. He is the one suffering here in terms of the net worth. Not by a huge margin, but
he's still not level 6. He's going to get it off of this wave, so he doesn't die against the Quap Dagger, but he might as well have. Kind of like a full half level behind, a bit behind in net worth here. You can see 700 down.
And if you just keep him low, there's not that rotation potential.
Yes.
That's kind of what BB Team are looking for here. Whereas GPK, he keeps his mana high. He can counter gank one of these side lanes if Liquid try and push it with the Eidolon.
That was nasty. See that? Insania, with his creep, manages to deny the Wisdom Rune.
Super value.
They get the bug on Miro. TP rotation coming in. Boxy. Oh, that was quite the move. Pulls himself to the Weaver and then pulls the Weaver to the Timber Saw with the snowball.
Very nice connection. Kind of a janky gank, but ends up working out. And there was no Queen counter gank on that play. So Mickey gets away with it. You get that Wisdom Rune deny. Big wins on the map for Liquid here. Support's putting in some work.
33, he will die to the rotation from the Queen of Pain, but still managed to get the kill on the Phoenix, and this time around got the experience for it.
I mean, 1v3, you get a kill. Can't be too sad about that.
No.
And you got that Queen teleport out. That was a big one in this early game for BB Team. Kind of had to pick which lane it went to. I think someone was going to go down to it no matter what.
Sure.
At least you get something out of that 1-on-3 exchange, and now you can ramp up the pressure mid. Get a power rune for Nisha, and it's a regen. Super value here.
pretty much the perfect rune for him. GPK gets his bottle refilled. Boxy spots the stacks that Save was putting in.
Can't give him away.
Nisha, he's going to take the regen rune and take your stacks.
Can't give these away. If you're saying you lost your wisdom, now you're losing your stacks. It's bad. He's going to have nothing out of this early game if BB do not defend this. He's level 3. This is not the early game we've seen out of Save from those first 2 games. He was the driving force behind that first 20 minutes. Here, he is a liability.
Yeah, now that means somebody else on the side of BB team is going to have to step it up, not just the captain.
There's going to be some early pressure coming in between 3, 4, and 5 from Liquid in this game as opposed to what it was last time. This Tusk, Ench, Enigma are going to be strong on the map. A lot of early just raw skirmish power with this drum on the Enigma to back it all up. It's a lot of right-click coming through in these early exchanges. You have to respect it. Cannot just get caught out in these random jungle areas or tower fights, getting outnumbered here if you're BB team, especially with how low level your supports are right now.
They're not going to let any support stick around in this bottom lane and soak some experience. Toronto Tokyo is going to be found after the dive away. An easy pickup for Nisha.
Exactly what you're looking for if you're Liquid. Abuse the level advantage right now. These 2 BB team supports are absolutely useless in a sense. They just don't have the level they need to fight. And you're closing in on 6s for this Ench and Tusk. Easy tier 1 tower for 33 down here. He continues to ramp up post-farm core out of the laning phase. He's going to add to it with a free tier 1. BB team kind of looking a little lost as to where you're supposed to strike on the map right now. You can't go into this Weaver. It's just a dead lane in terms of game potential. Don't have the stun.
Snowball, it's going to pound through. Go to Toronto Tokyo. Nisha jumps away, dodging some of that sonic wave damage. Boxy, he'll back out. A lot of damage done, but ultimately they get a kill and get out. Which is great for Nisha because he's closing that net worth gap between him and the Queen of Pain. He's getting more stacks for his mana regen off of all of these kills. And if you can keep it within, some sort of like 500, gold distance with this Queen of Pain, I feel like it's a pretty free storm here.
Yeah, you're very happy with this situation. Very little stuns to have to play around. No real Gleipnir buyers either.
Yeah. I mean, if he gets like an early Linkens, it's going to be tough because you just got these single target disables, right? Dragon Tail, Blink Lasso. You deal with one of those with a Linkens, you probably stave off the initiation from BB team.
These creeps have been on point from Insania. He's just scouting all these camps, blocking up some stacks. This is a massive Ancient stack. Again, so much experience Save needs in this game.
And they're going to fight around it. Liquid, they're going to get the kill on Save as Save commits to kill the Observer Ward. Boxy hanging out here on the high ground is going to use the Snowball to get himself down.
I don't think Liquid can steal this stack, but it is more economic damage done.
Yeah.
They're even rotating the Enigma over, so you're going to get to farm up some of this, at least pressure BB team. Continue to abuse the support duo here. They're going to attempt to steal some of this. This is pretty clunky, but what is the turnaround potential? Dagon is finished for the Queen, so you have some big burst damage on GPK.
Miro in some trouble. Turns around, Chakram's not going to be able to get the Timber Chain out of here. The Snowball stops him. Saika, he comes in way too late to be able to do anything about this. Liquid just group back up around the Ancient stack.
You might have to Queen ult this, honestly. I don't know if that's what you want to have to do, but you just give Liquid this stack. I mean, what does this Dragon Knight have to fall back on?
Between the Eidolons and the neutral creeps from Insania, they're getting so much information from BB team.
This is indecision right here.
Yeah.
You didn't take the fight, you didn't contest the stack, and you weren't pushing out the other lanes while this happened. That's the biggest loss. You came and watched them get away with it. Just staring down a gold deficit. This is such a turn for the early game of BB team, who have been dominating a lot of the early game skirmishing, it felt like in that game 1 and 2.
Yep.
Liquid just giving them nothing here. Just been absent, particularly Save. He has not found any momentum. The cores are still in an okay position, but the feel of this game it's been an abrupt turn in Liquid. Very happy with how it's going right now.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going Dagger Quap, you better be winning that first 15 minutes of the game, and that is not the case. Up 2K, cut down to a little bit shy of that just now, but Mickey With that safe lane tower gone, he can push in this bottom lane very aggressively. You've got the Enchantress setting up shop and pushing in this top lane with just a creep. Farming out jungle everywhere. 33's certainly making good use of that.
He's just going straight pipe. And it's going to be a good pipe game. You're also getting Orchid up on this Storm. I was curious if this Queen was maybe going to go back for one just to help deal with the Weaver in the Storm, but...
Yeah, that's what I imagined that this co-op game was going to be. It was a fast Orchid game that just kills the Storms here, kills the Weaver a couple times early, and sets them up with some really good momentum. But unfortunately, the momentum really didn't start too much.
Just gave up your tier 1 mid, too.
Blink Dagger for Psycho. So maybe they can do something off of this? They're missing initiation for sure. So with the blink in, the Timbersaw and Quap can follow that up.
I think Nightfall might have to make some moves with this.
I think so too.
At least look for 1 or 2 pickoffs on some of these cores, join a fight, because it's got nothing else going for you, and Liquid are taking over this map right now. They are out farming you, they're stealing camps, taking watchers, getting wards up, just controlling everything. Gleipnir is done for the Weaver here at 1430. Okay, incredibly farmed. And Orchid done as well.
Got him. Any saves? There's nothing really there for BB Team. It looks like they might not be able to do enough damage, though. GPK does manage to survive through that, but the Supernova is put down. The Black Hole gets used, but coming in from behind! Miro hits a huge Timber Chain Whirling Death that gets 2 core kills.
Nightfall with some nice...
And a third one on top of that.
What a disaster for Liquid. An aggressive go. They thought they had the timing with the Orchid and the Gleipnir finished exactly on point. They get the jump on the Queen, but this is what I was talking about. The Queen of Pain tankiness in this early mid-game. He's already up to 1800 HP. Tread's done for GPK, lets him survive. Fire Spirits come through from Toronto Tokyo, stalls up all the extra right-click. And his boy Nightfall there to tank the Black Hole. Ends up working out under this tier 1. Maybe kind of the dream fight for BB Team in some ways. Like, you're going on their tankiest hero who survives, and then sure, you get to kill this egg, but there's a lot of damage coming out. These heroes are half HP for Liquid, and then you get a 3-man Sonic Wave into that Timbersaw burst. That's just juice for Miro here.
Fantastic routing from Miro. His Timbersaw,
and it
huge
also
playmaker in game 1.
It begs the question, like, was that move necessary for Liquid?
No.
They had the whole map. They had it constricted. They had the vision advantage. It felt like BB Team were the ones who were going to be forced to make a smoke play to try and break that hold, and then you can counterplay that as Liquid. That just kind of played into the BB Team's hands a bit. Gives them some life in this game.
Yeah, certainly no reason that you had to dive a tier 2 against a Supernova Phoenix. Miro jumps into all of these heroes that he didn't know was there, immediately Orchid it up. He's in trouble, and he's going to be left behind. His BB Team now start backing themselves away. Mickey, he came in through the side, got the pick up on save, and now Nisha's diving in for more. With the Malefice on Toronto Tokyo, they'll grab a 3rd kill out of this one. Apparently Liquid, not deterred by the failure of their last team fight. They take another one here. Mickey does manage to jump away just before they jump in from GPK. 1 in, 1 out, turns around, Sonic Waves, trying to finish up 33. It's not going to be enough. He dies as well. They just got wiped.
That is more of the fight Liquid we're looking for. Just starting these random jungle areas, get the jump on a good target. In that case, it's Timber going straight into you. Miro just did not know where they were, and he ended up chaining into the wrong area of the map. Liquid get that 5-man wipe they were looking for with this Orchid Gleipnir. Make it look a lot easier than the first time around. We'll put a lot of their spells on cooldown here.
Miro just coming right back to the same scene of the crime here.
I mean, he knows the resources are a bit lower, but yeah, you do have to respect the lockdown right now. This Orchid has been putting in work and save. That is just not the area you want to be in right now. Isha has struck back in this game with a force after the rough lane versus the Quap Dagger. It's just done so much more. BB Team on the back foot as they are continuing to bleed around the map. These supports have had a rough one, and now they are food for the fodder.
Yeah, with all these lanes pushing in, the map is very small for BB Team, and that just makes the Storm more and more effective. I mean, he's getting 4.5 mana regen out of these Galvanized stacks right now, and he really doesn't have to jump that far for a lot of these little fights that are happening.
And when he jumps in, you've got that pipe to back him up. You've got a snowball save to bail him out.
True.
Enchantress heal. There's some okay utility here for him to rely on. And again, what's your lockdown for this storm? You have to land the Dragon Tail.
They got him. Dragon Tail, but he had a shield rune. Oh, that's so annoying.
It wasn't enough anyway, is the thing.
Yeah.
Like Orchid on the quad prevented the damage coming out, and you just, or on the bat prevented the chain stun coming out. So
right,
this one stun is just not enough right now for BB Team. Liquid taking advantage of it. Need to push their advantage.
Make sure to keep the lanes pushed in, hoping to keep BB Team on their side of the map. BB Team is not going to do that, though. They push out onto Liquid's side, knowing that it is honestly much safer over there than it is near their own base.
Yeah, I mean, the way you can break this is to push out top, get Liquid to TP up here, and hopefully not lose anybody on the way back out. Otherwise, you at least trade the map 50-50, which right now you're probably okay with if you're BB Team, because this 5v5 is not looking doable until you have Bat Blink.
Radiant structures are fortified.
But you need a bit more control at some point in this game. We'll also see at what point Liquid feel comfortable enough to force Roshan, because you have this pipe, Boots of Bearing build on the Enigma. In theory, you can go into that pit and kind of force the 5v5 reaction from BB Team if you're confident enough about your auras. Blink, 30 gold off for save. I'm surprised they're kind of looking here. Like, I mean, sell the clarity, my man. You know, just get yourself there, because you're not finding a lot right now.
No, they're not. Yule Scepter, but he comes back down into a world of hurts, and Orchid keeps him in place, and Mickey will deliver the damage. His tier 2 is falling fast.
Radiant's middle
Blink
tower
for
is
Bat,
under attack.
done, and they smoke up, but you just fed away your Timber while you were waiting for this last trickle of gold. So, like, where are you smoking to now? You're smoking to farm?
Yeah, I think you're smoking just to get out on the map, frankly. You know, you said that the power rune's pretty important in this matchup of Quap versus Storm Spirit, and that's one part of Liquid just being able to control the map right now, right? Yep. They're getting every single power rune for a Storm Spirit. That just feels like it's impossible to team fight. Makes it even harder for BB Team. So I respect the fact they smoke out just to get out on the map, because you really can't take this 5-on-5 next to your tier 2. That tier 2's now gone.
It's expensive, though. I mean, these smokes are not free. You're going to be missing them in the mid-game. Wisdom Rune would be super nice here.
Yeah, that's a nice pickup. But
need something here if you're these supports.
You can steal the Wisdom Rune. What you cannot steal is their Torment. So Liquid will take your Tormentor and eventually go back and do their own.
Okay, but to be fair, you know, BB Team hasn't had the best history with Torment, so that might have been good for them.
That's true. That's true. Toronto,
them a few
Tokyo
deaths.
is certainly in a happier space if they're not doing Torment.
I mean, that Liquid stealing BB Team's Tormentor is basically an Aegis for Toronto. Right? Gave him an extra life.
It's true.
Amp damage rune for Nisha, though. This is incredibly scary on the map.
GPK. Okay.
That might have been a solo kill.
Yes.
It would have been close. And GPK is still saving up gold. I think he's debating whether he wants something more offensive here or defensive.
I feel like you gotta go BKB.
He's debating. He was thinking about Kaya for some more damage. Now he's thinking about BKB. He has 4K gold. He's thinking about Ags now. I don't think this Quap...
Ags?
I mean, I honestly don't think this Quap item is super obvious. Like, it is not... It's extremely pivotal in this game. Maybe the most important item coming up here. He's going to buy out for the Ags. This is the more aggressive choice and the one that will pay off more over the long run.
Yeah.
But if you get jumped Orchided,
yeah,
you are dead in the water, right? There's nothing to bail you out right now, except, you know, Fire Spirits coming through, Stun coming through, that type of thing. Oh, this is a huge grab.
Great pickup from Save. They saw some heroes. Toronto, Tokyo made the space in the bottom part of the map, right? They were chasing after that Phoenix. They saw 2 heroes there. BB Team said, now's our time to be able to strike, make use of these Blink Dagger initiations, and they found the perfect mark for it too. Nisha's Storm Spirit.
Save had a very rough game, but that is a big smoke play into the exact grab they were looking for while Liquid are trying to do Roche. So now let's get stalled up a bit, because ideally you want this Aegis on the Storm. I think they're going to commit for this no matter what, because, I mean, that last was on cooldown. They committed DKL. There's no contest here. But I think this would have happened regardless of that Storm death.
True.
And now it just gives BB Team more time to farm the map. This is going to swing that net worth deficit by a couple K here. And they had the BKB on the Dragon Knight to back that move up. They're going to push towards the BKB on the Timber Saw. And this Ag's done on the Queen of Pain, pushing towards BKB as well. So maybe BKB has not been the best it's been in some of these recent patches, but you're going to have 3 of them on the side of BB.
We'll see whether or not GPK can get to that BKB uncontested.
And I think Orchid for Nightfall here is going to be a big turning point in this game. Like, if you can't get the defensive items up on the Storm and the Weaver, it gives you an extra catch tool. Heads up play by Save. That's a lot of space.
That's twice now that the supports on BB team have made space in the side lanes and not been caught in the process.
I mean, they're clawing their way back in this game. It's not been pretty for them, but they're not in the worst position, all things considered. And now the onus is kind of on Liquid to, you know, what do you do with this Aegis period? Are you content just closing out the map and continuing to farm? Do you want to push? I don't think you can push with it, right? It looks disastrous.
Yeah, in some ways,
Lasso, Phoenix Egg.
They're kind of suffering from their own success because they've already taken so many of these towers. It's like, okay, what's left? A tier 2 at top and then tier 3s? Like, I don't think you're going high ground this early, as you said, against this kind of lineup.
But you have triple aura buildup on the Enigma here. You're going Crimson on 33 on top of the Boots of Bearing plus the pipe. You kind of want to fight with this, and there's not a lot left to fight other than like push high ground, and that seems incredibly spooky.
This is a dangerous point for BB team at the same time, right? They just got chased out of their side lanes. This is the point where Liquid can actually make use of this Aegis, potentially catch BB team.
The catch would be the ideal. Like, if you can find someone on a side lane with this Storm Orchid, just lock them down, bring the other support. They would really love to pick up GPK here, and they TP top looking for him. He's already out.
Yep, the Weaver showed on this ward that they've got deeper in the jungle.
Need deeper lane wards here if you're Liquid. I think that's the key that's missing. You have this one lane ward top, but your other one's on that outpost bottom that kind of let you do Roche. And ideally in this type of map state, you want wards near the tier 2 top, near this base bottom. You can see where BB team are going and set up for them preemptively, because right now the catch is proving a little difficult.
Yeah, you can't start making that rotation once they show on the creep wave. BB team, they know, like, once they show on the creep wave, the timer has already started. They're going to kill that wave and get out.
I mean, they're playing cat and mouse right now, giving up a little gold lead, but getting their cores to their next items. And if you look at that net worth chart, their cores are not too sad in this game. And this game could come down to which team's 3 cores can just stand in that fight more. Like, maybe you land some good black hole here, but heroes are tanky. There's some sustain with Sunray, Fire Spirits. Find a quick little Phoenix kill.
Finally get something.
Heads up Snowball in the camp to prevent any sort of action there. This is enough to open up some sort of push or jump. Get the last tier 2. Gem on Insania will continue to control a lot of the map here.
Yeah, it's a good idea, but again, the BB team vision was so deep that he's not going to see a lot of these wards that are actually out on the map.
They're going to go for the high ground push. This is a scary push into the Bat Rider lasso, into a Phoenix Egg that you could, in theory, defend pretty well on this high ground.
Can Save get the initiation? Can Liquid counter it?
I honestly don't think Liquid want to fight this. I think they are way more interested in bringing BB team back to their base.
Which they did do. All 5 heroes came back.
That's what's valuable here. Because now you get to farm the map and there's no pesky quap deep on your side lane.
Yeah.
Evening out the net worth gain. You're going to get to build advantage off this. Get another power room for Nisha. Maybe de-ward some of these deep obs and set up somewhere else. Smoke from BB team. Looks like they want to make a play. Are still looking for that Queen of Pain BKB, but they have a shield rune on GPK right now, which kind of makes up for it. Might just be happy with farming out the last minute on this Aegis as well.
Yeah.
Like, why take the fight into 2 Storm lives when you can take it into 1? And he doesn't have that defensive item yet. You know, Nisha, he recovered a lot of his game, but he's not ultra wealthy or anything. And he's still susceptible to getting Lasso DK stun Orchided, which is the big threat. You're going to look towards that Snowball save to bail him out at that point, which could come in through the Tusk, but there is no blink on Boxy. You went for Solar Crest. So you have to think about how deep you go in with this Storm Spirit versus where your bailout actually is in the fight.
They're making this move without Nisha. Gonna try and take this Wisdom Rune. Mickey opens up on Psyka. But the lasso comes through, grabs the Weaver, turning it around, but they're not going to be able to burst down this Weaver, not very quickly. Maybe with the Orchid, a Force Staff gets a little bit farther away, but I don't think it's enough damage. Miro, yeah, he managed to get off his ultimate. Mickey's back up, pretty full, pretty healthy. Insania throwing some damage back at GPK, but they do start backing away. So does BB Team. They respect the fact that Storm Spirit could come in. The Aegis is expiring as well, so we was about to get that big boost in mana regen. Speaking of a boost in mana regen, a regeneration for Storm Spirit in the bottle now.
And closing in on the Lincolns, it will make his ability to be more aggressive a lot easier in exchanges like that. Daedal is going to up the damage here for Mickey. Still susceptible himself, but fairly tanky for now.
Yeah, we saw that last one. With the Daedalus and his level 20 talent, he does big burst damage.
It's a lot more.
They complete that Lincolns for the Storm Spirit, and I feel like your item timings are all hitting, but are you going to do anything with it?
And you don't
with
have
like
that
second Roshan around, you know?
It's awkward. I think you're waiting for next Roche here, looking for pickoffs on the map, continuing to control the power runes.
Is it bad for either team going late here? Do you have a preference?
It's really hard to say. I think I would favor BB Team a little bit just because you went this aura buildup on the Enigma.
Yeah, sure.
But it really comes down to like the item execution, the saves from things like the Tusk and the Sunray. Who gets the jump is a big factor as well.
Sure.
These BB Team supports are still very susceptible. As
little bit of a hiccup here is uh-oh. Got kicked out of the game. So did we on our PCs as well. So hopefully the game is paused at least. We'll be able to get back into things here pretty shortly. But it does look like a game that, because the high ground is so hard to get into, and yep, it is paused. No worries, everybody. You're not missing out on any action right now. So don't worry, you're not missing any action, and we'll get back into the game very shortly here, as both us as well as the players did have a bit of a problem here. So no worries on that regard. But looking at late game situation, you were saying?
Yeah, I favor BB a little. I just think the late game Queen of Pain it's tough to crack. Like you
really believe in that?
I do, man.
You've got an Enigma on the other side.
Listen, Austin,
with no saves.
I have played enough pubs to know that every time I see Queen of Pain, it's a coin flip, man. It's a coin flip.
Okay.
And most of the times I'm losing that coin flip. But in like 1 out of 10 of those coin flips, which is about how many I win. You can figure that math out later. In one of those 10, the queen goes ham and she gets the 5 or 6 slots and she's untouchable. God among men.
Okay. So you think GPK is going to become that God among men?
Or he will lose horribly in the next 3 minutes here and flip the coin. If you feeling lucky today,
you need to talk to Bulk. You need some of that confidence, man. Damn.
It's not a GPK issue. It's a game issue, you know?
Okay.
This is the precarious point for him. So he needs to get to like the next, 1 or 2 items here. I will also say this game paused at a very interesting point of these teams getting very close to each other, and I don't know if either one knows the either is there.
Yeah. The Timber Saw is above them, and the rest of the team...
But I think everybody's in fog relative to each other. So this is interesting. I don't know what will happen out of this, but...
Like, Liquid are playing under their vision. Miro is playing under his vision. So is the rest of his team, actually. They're playing under a different ward.
Classic BB team.
Don't fight, go. Are they serious?
I cannot tell you how many times I've seen GPK say go while one of his teammates is still disconnected.
Dude, it's
actually up here. It's a classic.
This man just doesn't care. He just wants to get into the game. Doesn't care if it's a 4 versus 5. I mean, that's what happens when you get that high of MMR, right? You have to win some games 4 versus 5.
BB team posing some question marks here. Of course, Liquid probably have them all muted.
I was about to say, everybody probably has everybody muted, so they're probably telling each other to go, and nobody actually knows that they've said anything.
All right, but no damage done. We're all in the clear here.
And no fight either.
See what BB team decide to do out of this, because they do have that Timber BKB. You're closing in on your Queen BKB. You're 100 gold off here, and that would complete your trifecta.
Is that I saw Bloodthorn being completed, right?
Yep. Nightfall.
That is a massive damage boost for BB team.
He's level 18 as well. So he's kind of hitting his power spike.
Yeah.
Talked about the Weavers as well here. A lot of damage coming out from these 2 carries. if you can sit there and deliver it. That's the big question. Where does the lockdown come from? Can you land a big shards or black hole connection for Liquid, or where the storm jump comes through relative to the bat lasso and the DK stun?
Yeah, I mean, Mickey has no defensive items, really. He's got Hurricane Pike. He is depending heavily either on his own play and not getting caught by that Bloodthorn, or the save coming out from box. One or the other.
Yeah, there's only 3 mechanisms. Hurricane Pike yourself out, get snowballed, or Nisha throws a clutch Lincoln zone.
Yeah.
Or BB team just overcommit on you, trying to burst you, and you can bail them out with, you know, like the auras from Enigma and drop a black hole.
Sure.
And just zone control. So there is some stuff he can play around. But ultimately, yeah, if the Weaver gets jumped and pulled into the side of BB team, the fight's over. Like, that's it. He's gone.
Nisha bullying BB team's position on the map right now. Has a gem on him and a Lincoln's. So he's moving around, clearing out vision that BB team worked so hard to get out on the map to place in the first place. They do manage to get a Tormentor, but with them all going back to the fountain, this pretty much guarantees no map control for them.
Is under attack.
Triple BKB online right now. 33 did finish up that Crimson. Triple Aura online for Liquid, looking towards the next Roche. So taking a fight during this interval would be a little risky in terms of your map control and looking towards the biggest objective.
Trying to bait out an illusion. Showing it with some other heroes.
I mean, you can see Liquid, they want to fight, but there's no logic in pushing that fight into BB Team's base right now.
Yeah. I mean, fighting
have to be
into
patient.
Lasso Supernova is so difficult. Black Hole is not going to do that much for you if it's underneath a Supernova.
Absolutely not. And there's that Bloodthorn flying out on the Courier. Finished here.
Big pickup.
For Psycha, though, his DK form is going to run out in the next 30 seconds. So you're smoking into a decaying DK form. A little bit awkward, but again, I think maybe most of the fight comes down to the jump from the Lasso and the DK connecting on a core target.
If you were to find something right now, it would be fine. The Dragon form would stay up, but they're just not going to. It's like Mickey's making his way back.
That's one of those 50-50 Sakuchis. Like, do you go down and die, or do you go up and not die?
Well, he chose correctly.
10 seconds for Roche. I mean, Liquid definitely still have a map advantage and a lane advantage in terms of securing information.
Yeah, look at that push that's coming in top lane. Somebody's got to deal with this Eidolon shove.
Yeah, Insania has continued to be a menace with these creeps, and the Eidolons continue to push in mid. So, again, if Liquid want to play this very patient, they can. They can just kind of wait, force BB Team into them with the extra map control and lane pressure they have, wait till somebody shows, and then play off that information. I think that's the best route here, instead of just smoking aggressively blind. Like, there's a lot that can go wrong with that. Though you did pick up the Weaver BKB. Gives you a lot more security here in the team fight. And BB Team do not know about this. So if they try and all commit on Mickey here and it goes bad,
Toronto Tokyo would be a good target to be able to burst down quickly, but he's got a Yules. Can they get him? Miro's going to jump forward. Looks like Toronto Tokyo is good for it. He gets off the Supernova, but Liquid is already backed away. Outside of the range, will not be caught in this. And now, Nisha can try and jump back in. They go back to Toronto Tokyo, deal with him while the rest of BB Team, wounded from the engagement, have to just give up this area. The bugs go out, trying to search for more.
this is a tough fight, man. You don't have Timber, BKB, you have no Phoenix at all. They're going to hide for now.
Yeah, they have to TP back. It's
too hard, man.
As crazy as that positioning is and how you maybe could have gotten behind Liquid, there's just no way to take that 4 versus 5.
I mean, honestly, that idea of baiting the Phoenix, he can bail himself out with Yules before the burst comes through. It's not the worst idea to get Liquid to commit, but the lack of lockdown is just...
Oh, yeah.
It is so destroying you. You cannot keep a hero around you for anything unless that DK stun lands, and...
Toronto Tokyo pulled the trigger on that Supernova pretty quickly.
I mean, he has to. He has to. Like, once you're committed in there after the Yules, you risk just getting bursted off a random Weaver hit or a Storm jumping you or something. And
sure.
I don't blame him for that, but you have like one stun to make that play work. It's just so difficult. And, I mean, Liquid played it well. Like, they do not commit in here. They just, again, kite it out, wait for their moment, and now they get an Aegis onto the Weaver this time. So this could be a high ground mechanism Give 2 lives on the Weaver, BKB for the second. Force BB team to commit some spells into this carry that is dealing a lot of damage right now.
Yeah, speaking on that, I mean, we talked about how BB team could turn this game around off of a triple BKB timing. They haven't done that. And now Liquid is looking at their own BKB timing. Mickey already had his, but now Nisha is getting his with the Lincolns and a BKB and already limited lockdown.
Untouchable, man. He is going to be a problem. Maybe you just are looking to outlast this if you're BB team, but your supports are so squishy and so susceptible. I have a hard time imagining you get away from the fight with the Weaver and the Storm Chase. Like, I don't think you can make the same play Liquid did. I don't think you can go and bait BKBs from Liquid and get out. They're going to force the high ground. Aegis on the Weaver. I mean, you could lasso him in. Just try and burn the first life. See what save opts for here.
But if you don't manage to burst him down, he just BKB time lapses, and then there goes one of your only stuns. Ooh!
That is a brutal percentage.
Oh, he goes for it. Save doesn't get the initiation and dies in half a second. He reached for it, and he gets burned in the process. A quick buyback from him makes things even worse for BB team as Liquid. There's no rush. They've got 3 minutes left on this Aegis timing. Another power rune to pick up, and this one's an arcane rune.
Quick smoke from BB team, though. Really looking to punish somebody who's just, relaxed here on a random lane.
Well, they did this before. In game 1, they caught 33, separating from his team off of this kind of play, and they've got him.
No save.
Boxy couldn't get there in time, and now he's going to die for it as well.
They do get the D-ward on the cliff, but the damage has been done.
Miro's looking, seeing if they can find anybody else off of the next Dragon Tail stun.
Yeah, I mean,
slippery heroes, though.
You've got 2 jumps in this lineup. They used both.
Yeah.
We're done here, In fact, you have to think about Liquid jumping you because...
Yeah, it's exactly what they're going to do. Jump Miro and burst him down fast.
Arcane Rune's going to power up this Storm. Have to respect the single target burst coming out right now.
Turn on to Tokyo. Yules, he's going to have to supernova right away. They may still be able to focus it down. BB team can do nothing to stop it. No disables to be able to throw out. A Sonic Wave hits on 3. Not too bad. Mickey's going to Shikuchi back, leaving Insania behind. Throw some damage back out on a save. Fearful for his life off of some dangerous crits. Back to the fountain he goes. Liquid, Nisha, and Mickey are still the untouchable cores. Everybody else can die, but not those two.
I think it's the closest Nisha's come to dying in this game.
Sure.
Enemy base without mana. But, I mean, you just can't buy a stun at this point. I say that, I mean, you can. It's Dota, so you could buy Hex.
That's true.
And it feels like they need one really bad.
Yeah, who's going to do that for them, though?
I mean...
Timbersaw is trying.
I mean, Queen of Pain, right? It has to be GPK. I guess you could get it on Timber. I just don't know how much farm priority he's going to get at this point.
I mean, at this point, I think it's one of those just like both of you try for it. Whoever gets it first, fantastic.
Yeah, you need him here. Because like we saw, you use your 2 stuns and you can't even take over any of the map. It's like, nice gank, haha. You still have to sit in your base.
Yep.
It will slow down this Aegis push. Aegis going to expire here in 50 seconds, so...
And we are pushing the game later with every single Roshan. Liquid gets it, but they haven't broken high ground yet, and you said you did favor BB team going late. Lightmare. See if they can pick up Miro here. Yules in the middle of it, pops his BKB, and they got the lasso, pulling back the Enigma. Once again, they target 33. They had to use a lot for it, just like last time. Yeah, they killed the Enigma, but they can't push for more. They can kill the easy heroes, but what about the big dogs?
No Aegis high ground, though. Didn't lose a Rax during this period. That is valuable.
Yeah.
Save, finding, and opening. Saw the Lincolns thrown out here. There's another Lincolns on this Weaver. You really have to think about these 2 spheres blocking that lasso when you go in on these single target jumps. Gemma on line for BB team as well, and Nightfall pushing towards that Daedalus. It's Liquid going to be trying to cross the map. They had this ward bottom. This is the type of ward that you want at this point in the game. It scouted everything from BB team. Liquid.
They got their own lane ward that could spot Liquid as they come through. Safe, though. He's the one that had the gem, too.
Got to get out now. Just got to concede more map control here, and Liquid will take it over. Yep, gem on the ground, didn't get recovered. They're trying to send couriers for it.
All the couriers lining out to try and go out the base, but
none of them want to take it. Gonna send one around the long way bottom. They might actually recover this gem. Liquid just didn't see it. That is the dieback timer on the bat. He's out for a long time, so I think Liquid are going to try and take advantage of this.
Yeah. I mean, you said you only got 2 stuns. Well, one of them's dead, and nice use of the banner there. Stopping the Sonic Wave from killing the creep wave. They'll finish up this lane of barracks, no problem. Mickey is going to push for more. They won 2 out of this. 30 seconds left until the Bat Rider can start this engagement for them. BB team, it's either 2 lanes or try and make a fight happen with just a Dragon Tail.
I mean, you can't.
Fight's gonna come to them. They do need to get the Stormtrooper, but there's the snowball save. And now when they come back from that, there's nothing left from BB team. Nisha, in fact, is gonna go back into it. Another Sonic Wave goes out, doesn't hit a thing.
They are low cooldown. 30 seconds for the next one.
Yeah, 30 seconds for Mickey to hit buildings.
Oh, BKB Enigma, that is going to change the teamfight impact here a lot if BB team commit in deep.
Another tied in, trying to break through that link. It's not good enough. They're turning around and Save's dead. Nisha with his own BKB stands fearlessly underneath the Supernova. A small zip away and Liquid back into it. There is nothing left on the side of BB team at this point. No Supernova, no Lasso to be able to use. Once again, BB team struggled to be able to find a way to control Liquid. Maybe they do have some damage coming out from this Psycha Dragon Knight. But if you can't lock down a hero, and they're zip-zapping all over the place. Pushing out, Psycha tries it, doesn't get it. Now he's in trouble. Block hole used to lock down Psycha and catches Miro in the midst of it as well. Buyback's going to be put to use, but without a carry, now your damage is out the window. You had no disable, now you've got no damage. Liquid are looking good to be able to take Megas and might just force out a GG if they want to stick around for it.
I mean, one more lasso from Save. He's going to take the Edge.
Oh, an Enchantress is what you get? You can't even get that with a snowball save coming out for Boxy. It's the clearest read of his life. They've only got one play. It's Lasso. He sees it coming a mile away and had the saves to get Liquid over the finish line. Liquid will bring down BB team once again.
I will say, I think that was a closer series than a lot of people imagined. I mean, Liquid did get tested there, but overall, this game 3 was the most convincing. I think they really just slowed down, played patient, controlled the map. They didn't force any really bad fights that game. You know, maybe you have a couple deaths here or there, but they just gave BB team no openings. And I think the biggest change from the game 1 and 2 to that game 3 was the early game. Like, the support duo from Liquid got a lot more done in this game 3 compared to BB team and really shut down Save. He just got nothing done in the first 20 minutes, and his game was ultra slow as a result, and it just cost him so much down the line.
Yep, it certainly did, and as a result, Liquid are going to the upper bracket. We'll see BB team in the lower bracket.
That we will, and we're going to talk about this game number 3 a little bit more because they were tested in this series. Avery put it perfectly there. There was a lot of back and forth. I would describe it personally for you as erratic, but you said maybe to the untrained eye, that's what it would be. So break it down for me, please.
I mean, I think in general, this game was like really Liquid knowing exactly what they need to be doing on the map. It all started from like the laning stage as well. We went for a max Shadow Strike build on GPK, which we don't see very often here. And I think Jenkins was talking to me about how the build now is you get the early boots, how you have to go to the jungle. BB team even responded to that. They knew what was going on there. And then shortly after, they went to the enemy jungle, stole the stacks. They just kind of like took up shop there. Mickey had a completely free game. And ever since that moment, this area on the map they played, they didn't stop coming here. It was like 30 minutes just running to this mid lane to fight black holes down. They don't really care. They're just buying auras on 33 because 33 knows this game is all about fighting. They don't want to give him any room to breathe. So just buy the auras, doesn't go for the blink BKB build, and just like continuously apply the pressure. And that was Liquid's strategy. And this is how they like to play fast and shut down teams like BB team that it can be a bit more greedy.
Have you guys seen that meme where you have the graph and it's like a C? It's like a sine wave.
Okay, yeah.
And on the one side you have Herald, and then in the middle you have like Legend, and then at the bottom again you have.
You're talking about a bell curve.
The bell curve, right? Normal distribution, if you will. This game is one of those ones that was so high level that it looked like a Herald match. because you just have both teams 5-man running mid for like 30 minutes into the game.
Maybe to the untrained eye.
To the untrained eye. Because here's the thing. Like, BB team, they would use Lasso, they would pick 33 off, or they would pick somebody off mid, and then Liquid would not have Black Hole because they would use it in the last fight, and they'd be like, okay, well, there's no Lasso, we have all these auras, we have the advantage, let's just run and take their towers. And then time would pass, Save would respawn, he'd have Lasso up, they'd get a kill on 33, Liquid would back off a little bit, 33 would respawn, and then all of a sudden it's the exact same thing again for 25 minutes. But it's because Liquid realized that as long as they execute the fights well, as long as they're pressing their buttons well, as long as they're staying together, backing off together, doing these like small backs instead of big backs, that they could stay right in front of BB Team's base. And this is one of those things where like, this is what Blitz means when he says his team is the fastest team in the world, and why he believes that. Because even though this game lasted a very long time, I could feel the pressure. Like, I could feel the pressure watching this game. I can only imagine.
It came through in the gameplay from both teams.
Yeah, from both teams. And BB Team did a decent job at responding to it. Like, there's so many levels to this game.
Yeah.
And I think Fear covered it perfectly with the early, like, Storm rotation, knowing that he has to go back to base with the boots, and then all of the supports also knowing that, whether it's a call from the mid laners or from the supports just also knowing the matchup of Quap versus Storm. It's extremely high level and extremely fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, Mickey going 14-0, phenomenal performance from him. What's your take on it, Winter? I know that Jenkins and Fear covered a lot from it, but maybe something for BB Team. They were able to hold that high ground for a long time. I mean, they're the reason why this game dragged out for as long as it did.
Yeah, but I still want to go back to the root cause of the problem, why they were losing like the early game. I felt like I always bring up, the support duo, whether they work well with each other. Like, this game, it clearly showed that in the early game, the Enchantress and Tusk, they were able to do way a lot more. Whereas you compare it to the Bat Rider and Phoenix, they had an okay start where they were pressuring the Storm, but after that, both of them kind of needed to farm. And Bat Rider had like very little room to get his dagger, and he got a very late dagger around 20 minutes. And Phoenix was the one like staying in the lane, taking the farm, the dangerous farm, because he could, right? As a Phoenix, that's what you usually want to do. But Bat Rider also needed a farm, so they kind of were in a position where they couldn't get enough gold for both supports, and they got bullied by the Enchantress and Tusk throughout the map. That's why you saw the Tusk Enchantress, they were just living in their side of the map, taking all the jungle.
Yeah. Well, it was great play from the Liquid supports and the Liquid team in general there. And because they did win here, it means we've got Nomad standing by with one of their players to ask them about this win and being in the upper bracket.
Indeed, I am here with Mickey, and we're going to be chatting about that game. I mean, that whole series was pretty phenomenal, and your series yesterday versus Spirit also very entertaining. Are you guys going to just have exciting series the whole way?
Yeah, why not? You know, it's the Team Liquid way. You know, usually this is the lower bracket, but we'll take it.
So BB, you know, they kind of took you by surprise. I feel like, you know, they played a lot faster than maybe you were expecting. Do you feel that way as well?
Yeah, usually when we play them, they're kind of slow and more methodical, I guess. And this time they were like just running at us, and it definitely caught us by surprise. So, yeah.
Well, you adjusted really well to it, obviously. Do you feel like you learned anything about your own game, or, you know, did anything change in your ideas from the series?
We always improve each series, so I would say we learned a lot draft-wise this series, and what we look to change, and I have to ask William Blitz, so I don't know. Easy games.
Easy games. Well, you're a bit of a Luna expert. I mean, both your Luna and your Weaver performances were excellent. But so looking at your Luna, you know, you really popped off. What is it about that hero which, you know, makes it a good Luna game?
Do I want to reveal strategies? No, but it was a good Luna game, and the lane should go better in our favor. But I think it's pretty good against Timber, so that's why we picked it.
Fair enough. And then even after, you know, your loss in game 2, you're still smiling, you're still happy in the booth, as you guys always are. You know, do you think that's a secret of why you're so good at coming back and why you're so kind of tenacious as a team?
Yeah, it plays a part for sure. I mean, we always try to keep the vibes up because, you know, we always play better when the vibes are good and everything is just, yeah, just nice, I guess. We learned that from Zai. Thank you, Zai.
All right. Mickey, thank you very much. Congratulations on your win. Excited to see you guys play again. And yeah, good vibes over here. Back to you, Nat.
Oh, we got some good vibes as well going on here, right, guys?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, I just let him answer.
Yeah. Fear is all they're answering for, you
He's the
guys.
positive guy.
All right, look, Liquid are going to be in high spirits at the moment. You know, they get to go into that upper bracket. They're only one best of 3 away from making it to that main stage, to be going to the main event of the international. Whereas BB Team, now you're going to readjust and reevaluate. We were able to get a game. You couldn't close out the series. And now you're looking down in that lower bracket. There's going to be a big battle for you. And I also want to see how their drafts, their priorities for their heroes are potentially going to shift up, because this Batrider, it came out, did great in game number 2. They wanted to first pick it for game number 3, but it wasn't able to have the same sort of effect, Winter.
Yeah, I feel like going back to my point just now about the combination of the Bat plus the Phoenix, they both were picked because of their lane, the opponent's lane. They wanted to counter what the opponent's heroes were going to do. The Phoenix for the Tusk and the Batrider against the Enchantress, but they failed to consider that these 2 heroes are very greedy together. So it's going to put you at a weak spot in the early game where you can't really fight the Enchantress and Tusk, you know, even though you're going to be okay in the lane. But what's the plan, you know, in the mid game?
Right. If you're playing against a weaker team, then maybe you're fine, because this point where the Bat is like farming the Blink Dagger, Phoenix is also farming that first item. Like, neither of these heroes have really convenient ways to stun and kill people before Bat gets the Blink. Like, maybe against a worse team, the enemy supports don't recognize that and they don't pressure you during that time. But against Liquid, you got to do better.
It's not that I don't trust you both on your viewpoint of this. I just want to bring in another opinion. So let's see exactly what Purge has to say about this Batrider and its difference between game 2 and 3.
A much sadder game than game 2, because Save did get to play this hero in game 2 and game 3. And I think one of the most crucial things about this match was, I mean, the support matchups were supposedly good, but the Batrider versus core matchups, way worse. Killing the Weaver is very difficult. Killing the Storm Spirit is very difficult. So Save, in the first game, he had level 6 at about 8.5 minutes. In this game, 14 minutes took him to hit 6. This is one of the reasons why this Wisdom Rune got destroyed by Insania sending a creep over there. So what Save basically did was spend most of his time just stacking camps, stacking ancients, things like that. And when he did try to help in the side lanes, it just didn't really go that great. He didn't get a kill. He just helped a little bit, gets zoned. And ultimately, Liquid moves over. They take all these stacks, all these large camps. That was really frustrating for him to deal with. So what did he do? He went back and he stacked more. This is at the 10-minute mark, cleaning those up, trying to actually do something for his team. And ultimately, the same thing kind of happened. He anticipated a gank was coming in the area. He went to a defensive position. He sat under this tower, and eventually the smoke breaks. He ends up dying, and then they just cleared all of his ancients. So all this experience he was supposed to get back from these stacks being cleared also didn't happen, which is why his level 6 became such a late affair, and that hurt Phoenix as well. They were just so far behind in experience. He did basically nothing for about 6 to 7 minutes there. Really rough for him.
I appreciate the visual cues there. Looking how many, I mean, first of all, I'm impressed that you can get that many stacks in a camp.
I blame my team in that scenario.
Of course you do.
All of these
when don't you? What scenario don't you blame your team?
Spend the whole game for putting stacks, and it's like, where the hell are these guys taking the stacks? Like, oh, my lane is free farm. It's like, okay, dude, I'm just going to sit here and defend it myself at this point. That's what he did. That was a passive-aggressive standing on the ward.
Was it your team's fault that your wisdom got denied as well?
No, that's his fault.
Okay.
That's his fault. You got to be there quick.
You got to be there on time.
He didn't respect the Insania Enchantress. He saw the Enchant lane. He's always not going for it. Well, the Ogre was.
Disrespect, actually.
Yeah, that was disrespect.
In that game number 3, Liquid were able to have that one up. They do continue in the upper bracket, but we're only halfway through our day. There is so much more Dota to happen here in our road to the international. We're going to have a sit down with Pyrian and Respect, and when you guys come back, it'll be 2 new teams, a whole new best of 3, and also a new panel.
Hello, I'm here with Respect, and I'd like to ask, first of all, how are you doing?
Great.
Yeah? Everything cool? Feeling
so
happy?
far, yeah. Excellent.
And talk to me about the boot camp you guys had before this tournament. How was that for you?
Yeah, it was pretty basic. We prepared for the international.
And what did you guys do? Was it mainly scrims or pub games or watching replays? What was the focus for you?
Scrims, of course, and watching them and watching other teams play. We played 2 tournaments, online tournaments before the TI, like the practice tournaments.
So tell me about your life before Dota, what kind of stuff you were into, and then how you got into Dota.
So my first game was in Warcraft 3. I played the Naga, as I remember. I didn't know anything. It was probably 2011.
So how old were you then?
11.
11?
Yeah, I was 11 years old. and after some games, I just forgot about the Dota, played custom games in Warcraft 3, but I don't know how, but I ended up in Dota again, Dota 1. I played a bit, started to realize some things, and I liked it very much. And when the Dota 2 came out, I was like in shock. I wanted the key so bad, and my first game in Dota 2 was Wind Ranger, as I remember.
Wow.
Yeah.
And did you think at that point, this is what I want to do? Or were you just, because you're still very young, were you just playing for fun and then...
Playing for fun, mostly. But when I got to the high MMRs, like at the time 2015, 16, 5K, 6K MMRs was a lot at the moment. I started to realize that I can maybe become a pro player.
So you're a position 5 player. Which of those new heroes has been a bigger challenge for you to learn? Because I know some of the supports are saying, I don't want to have to play Naga Siren and Tinker.
Yeah. There was the times when we first met with my teammates. Chen was not in my pool.
Okay.
It was tough for me to play Chen good, and I struggled a lot. But now I thought that Naga was a very difficult hero, but it's not. It's not really, yeah. It is a hero after like 2-3 games you understand the whole thing about the Naga post 5.
But the role of position 5 now, everybody needs these position 5s that scale later and get better and everything like that. It seems like in the old days, it used to just be Lich and it would be Crystal Maiden and stuff like that. Why has it changed so much?
I think probably because the map became huge. Like you can have all of the farm for all of your 5 heroes. So I think the main thing is the map changes.
The map changes.
Yeah.
Are there any other pro players in the tournament that you've sort of watched over the years and now you're going to get to play against them potentially?
Probably Miposhka and Snaking. That's the 2 people I watched a lot when I learned to be good post 5.
Yeah, that's, I mean, 2 great players to watch for sure. All right, so this is a bit of a weird question, but if you could make one big change to Dota, what was the one big thing that you would change about Dota?
Tough question. It's not in-game change, but I would bring back Battle Pass.
Okay, I think that'll be quite a popular answer. The true Battle Pass. Okay. All right, I'm going to ask you to give me your opinion on the other teams in your group, because this is ahead of the group. So just tell me what you expect, what you think of these teams, okay? So first up, Game and Gladiators.
Probably the best team in our group. They play fast. They want to crush their enemies like in 20-30 minutes.
What about Heroic?
Heroic, we played a lot against Heroic. We win, we lose, like average team. Nothing I can say much.
Okay. What about Extreme?
I think they're a little below Gaming Gladiators, that's my point of view, but they are strong too. SyncU is very good player, like very good.
Fair enough. And just finally, if you could sum up your feelings about your team's season up to this point, this last year, how it's been, how would you sum it up?
Stairway to success.
Stairway to success.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I love that. All right, brilliant. Respect. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. All the best.